But
Okay, yeah, thank you. Now we're recording. Beautiful. Okay, when last we left off, you guys had left Sanwinder. You were heading off to Espers. The information you had, Sanwinder, in the 120 plus years that's been left to its own devices, has managed to crawl its way up a level or two technologically and have established a system-wide spacefaring enterprise, mostly under the guise of Fenric Corporation. But the interesting thing is, you've heard that there's something odd going on at Cuba. You're not quite sure, but that there was a ship that has come over. No, this ship come over? I can't remember. But that you feel that Espers is the place to go before you get to Cuba and go from there. So you're in Jump. Was there anything you guys wanted to do while you're in Jump?
Ship's maintenance.
Yes. Engineering checks, general maintenance.
Okay, so everyone who's got a station, give me the appropriate skill that would be attached to it.
Okay, I'm engineering 2.
So this is just a check, so...
Get my dice roller here, right? Okay. Back to the...
So are you rolling in... Felnick, thank you. Felnick is the name of the corporation. Are you rolling in Discord? Okay.
Oh
so
my goodness.
Beautiful.
No, wait a minute. I didn't have the pluses on that. 2d6. But
David.
still, let's... There we go. Let's try that again there.
Okay. The engines are totally fine. The fuel pumps, filtration, you sort of check everything out, and you're all totally fine as far as you are aware. Anyone else want to do anything at any of these stations?
Nope. I will grease the guns.
Excellent.
Do we still need to do our navigations?
Navigation, basically how navigation works is if you're off target, if you're lost or if you're traveling within a solar system, you may need to do a navigation roll. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, I thought we do that every time we jump as well.
Yeah, that's my misunderstanding. Navigation, you don't have to make a navigation roll every time you jump. You only make it if you're lost and you're trying to find your way back.
All right.
Or if you don't have a star map and you're trying to work on your best guess sort of stuff.
Well, we got a star map from.
Yep.
But it's old.
Yep, and you're accounting for the 120-year-old drift and all that sort of stuff. So.
We really did.
Yeah. Plus the fact is your star map will be relatively. Remember, this is the closest to the Imperium part. So if you're talking about any drift, it's not going to happen for a wee while. Because their calculations will be more correct here than towards the other edge of the sector. Because you've got, yeah.
I'm swapping things, so I'm just going to be off for a second.
All good. Okay, so David will join us shortly. He's just got into the other one. Yes.
We'll read up on Espers.
Okay, sorry, I'll give you the details that you had. You're cracking again, but now you stopped, Jerry. Okay, so Espers was recorded as a B starport, a 786 physical world. It had 658-7. It also had a naval base, a scout base, a gas giant, and the other thing, of course, was that it was close to 6.5 million.
6.5 million people.
Yep. So
human populated?
Primarily, very few anything else. But what there was, it was sort of standard. Excuse me. You know. standard known aliens, I should say. Sorry.
Standard
Yeah.
standard known aliens.
Standard known aliens, not anything weird.
Just the run of the mill.
Pretty much, you know.
Okay.
Okie dokie. So that's what you got. At that time, its classification would have read as an ag, not industrial rich world. The database would also tell you that the Navy was what's the word I'm looking for? Like attached to Gooba, it was more of a sector-wide navy where the other planets might have had their own navies. This was more of a conjoined. I don't think that's the right word.
Federated Navy?
Yeah, that would be better, I think. Federated Navy. So that's another well, not unusual, but that's another piece of advice for me.
Excuse me.
Population, not population, sorry. Law level was 8, so that's quite high. I think even shotguns are taken out at that level. Just trying to get to the place for you. Long-bladed weapons are controlled, all but daggers. And open possession is prohibited. So daggers are fine. Anything else outside of your own house, you're in trouble. Take it on your own cognizance. And the government was a federal technocracy. Feudal technocracy. I got federal on the mind for some reason. 786, so that's a standard tainted atmosphere. Is it? No, 7 is the size. I'm having a good day today. It's a dense atmosphere. So, with that knowledge, is there anything else you want to do with that? Lance, Sergeant Lance.
So did we come out of jump drive yet? We'd come out of jump yet, or we're just
no,
looking
I'm
at the
asking
information?
if anyone's doing anything else.
Well, we could search the library data for any old information on the world. I got computer zero. I mean,
Well, it's pretty easy to find that sort of stuff. What sort of area are you looking in? What are you looking for?
what type of government was it again? Did you
It's
say
a
it, or
feudal
anything about the?
technocracy.
Feudal technocracy.
Yeah.
Pretty common government.
Yep. So based on sort of the brightest lights, they sort of, with their innovation stuff, sort of led the population in general. You might find some. You won't find a complete, thoroughly indexed thing of the planet, because if you did that with the whole sector, you would not have enough space on your computer. But you would know that there were 6 individuals who were on this board, if you like, or this government, and they leveraged the technologies of the planet. They actually got the Navy contract. Instead of being on Gooba, they got it and set things up. And it was after that that Gooba actually established their own Navy. So that's going back a little bit. What else can I tell you? Yeah, you're going to tell me what sort of thing you're looking for.
I don't know, just economics and military might. I mean, what's profitable? I'm thinking about money and technology. What is their profitable resources?
Technology, yes. Profitability doesn't really matter now.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. Originally, it was a tech level 7, but to get from them to Samwenda, they'd need better than that.
Yeah. Technology level 7 is not. That's
only
pre-interstellar. That's kind of like
solar
70s.
system.
Yeah.
That's sort of what Sam Wender's got now.
Yeah. So they're probably. I'm guessing that they're probably a few tech levels decreased by now with all the issues, and the population might be different. So I mean, I would.
What was the population again?
The population was
6
at
million.
the time 6.5 mil.
Okay. I don't think
Steve,
we
I
can
got a
find
little.
anything else from here. Just jump in.
Yep. Okay. Now just
I got a
so you-
little quick question.
Yep.
And this is a little off the beat. I'm looking at my character you sent me. It says I can choose to separate 2 0-level skills to improve. Does that mean existing 0-level skills, or can I take a 0-level skill? I got 2 skills I can
It's
improve.
got to be
I
existing.
never did.
Yeah, it's got to be existing.
So I can increase those to 1 then.
Yeah.
what you're saying.
But what you've got to do, this is for your learning stuff. So that means you're locking yourself in for 8 years. So make sure you pick the 2 that you want.
Oh, okay.
Hello, this is David. I'm on.
Hello, David. How are you?
All right, sorry, my other computer for some isn't connecting, so I had to troubleshoot.
All good. All good.
Hello, Dave.
If I could.
Sorry to hear that you're having trouble with your other computer.
Dave.
Possibly I could help you with that.
Very good. Sorry, you're going to say something, Jerry?
Humans.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at my character, and the only 0 skills I have, of course, I have all gun combat and all blade combat. I've got computer 0 and steward 0. I was going to ask you if I could take electronic 0 and raise computer to 1, or take air raft 0. But you said existing 0
Yeah,
skills.
it's got to be existing. Yeah, it's got to be existing.
Well, in that case, then I would think I'm going to go with computer to 1, and I would take auto rifle.
Okay.
Well, check your intelligence and education. Make sure you got space because we're using
That's
that
the
roll
other thing.
too.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah,
other
I
problem.
do.
Yep. Cool. Sweet.
What about a mechanical skill?
I think he's.
I have mechanic 1 already.
Alright.
Yeah.
And no electronic.
No. I think the other engineer's got the electronics, and somebody else in the group's got electronics.
Well, I've got a dexterity of 14, so I'm a badass with guns. That's not me.
Is it me?
No.
Is that
Dave? Did you want to say something, Dave?
No, that was. I just saying, what was that?
Oh, okay. Already. Yeah, we're getting some really weird feedback.
Yeah, I know. Mine's the blowing wind.
Yeah.
Oh wait, can you hear it? Hold on.
No.
It's probably me. I'm making a bean burrito.
Yeah, matey, if you make that sound consuming and processing a burrito, I have serious issues. You have serious issues.
It's turkey bean burrito.
Rightio.
Yeah, what is that beeping noise?
I don't know. I think it's just Discord doing silly things. So, what our cargo 6-ton holds. Okay, so in your 6-ton of cargo hold, you've got 1 ton of auto rifle ammo. You've got 1 ton. How many did we work it out to, Glenn? Because you were doing the missiles. How many does a ton hold?
Yeah, we did work that out, and I don't remember. I think we wrote it down.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe I got.
Yeah, I gave it
before.
Yeah.
Way back.
Okay, I'm not
if
sure.
it's in there, if I wrote it, I'll find that.
Yep.
But I'll say
I
missile.
think it's a ton or 2 ton. I'm not sure. That's the thing. I'm not sure.
Quick change of plans. I realized I had gunnery 0. I'm gonna turn that to gunnery 1, and then I'm done. I don't know. That's a change of subject here, but
is it comp 1 and gunnery 1?
Computer 1 and gunnery 1. Those are the 2 skills I
Right.
want to change from 0 to 1.
Gunnery, because we're using the extended skills, you've got to choose from gunnery lasers, gunnery missiles, gunnery like ship particle weapons or gunnery screens?
He's on the
What do
gig,
we have
so it'd
on our
probably be.
ship?
It
Hold
should,
on.
yeah, yeah.
He's on the gig, so he probably wants laser.
Yeah, because
Yep. Yes, Skipper. Laser it'll be.
right, yeah.
Gunnery
So
1
laser.
lasers.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So whatever you've got left in tonnage, Pierre, it's supposed to be air life support. But we need to get 1 ton of ammunition for the auto rifles, and I think 1 or possibly 2 ton, but I'm pretty sure it was only 1 ton of missiles to replace the missile racks.
Yeah, I think we said they were 50 kilogram missiles each, so that makes 20.
So 20 to a ton.
That's what I heard.
Okay, so you'll probably have 2 ton of that, which means you'll have 3 ton of life support. And I've forgotten exactly how much is in a 3 ton life support. I'll have to get the thing out and calculate it for you, but it's a fair whack.
Okay.
I remember it was like a month or 2, something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, I'm not sure. It's something like 16 weeks or something. But then when you divide it amongst all your cells, it comes down a bit. But yeah, you got a fair bit. And then if you really want to, you've got space on the gig. But I believe Eric's character's thought of putting in a small motorcycle as one of the ton on the gig.
Med kit, 2 survival kits, Tacoma's motorcycle is what I have on the gig.
Okay, radio. And the gig I think has another 2 or 3 ton. I'm not sure. So whatever it is, just fill it up with more life support.
Okay. And does anybody know what our software assortment is for this ship?
I did, and then now I've got to look for it.
Okay,
So
yep. So we'll leave that to
let me
Sid
know when
because
you
he's the captain. So that's cool.
and computer good dude.
Yep.
No, you know, I don't know if anyone's on. I know I told Steve, but I swapped out the computers, so everything I've got is on that old one. So I gotta look for it.
Okay. Might be good if we can locate that when everyone's got the stuff. If we locate it on the Google community, I've just changed the name to Stardust Redux. So
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, then we can sort of keep track of it all there, and it's all done and dusted. It's in one place. And at any time we can go online and get it from there. Okay, you'll be fine at the moment. So Dave, just what was happening in Jump Drive, the group was just looking at some of the already established information for the target planet Aspis. It's I think if you're in Stardust and Discord in the chat room there, Pierre's already put Aspis in there. It's official status, the UPP. So it's got a B starport, size 7 planet, dense atmosphere, 60% water. It's recorded as of 120 years ago. Its recorded population was getting close to 6.5 million. At the time it was run by a feudal technocracy. It had a 8 law level, which means anything bar daggers was illegal outside your home. It had a 7-star technology, which is too low for it to have actually got to Samwinder, which you found out. So that's gone up, but by how much you don't know. It had what we're calling a federated navy. Basically, the 6 feudal technocracy leading lights managed to gain an agreement from Gooba to establish a navy there, and they used that to generate a lot of prosperity. There was a scout base and a gas giant. That's 120 years ago. The only thing else that Dave's character, Glenn's characters looked into is he found out that that feudal group were at that time were quite wily, managing to get that deal. That's about it really, and the acknowledgement that their tech level has to be higher than what's been recorded for them to be able to get to Samwinder. That's about it. Then we went into just some more. You go, Dave. Sorry.
Oh, when did you say that the weapon law level was?
8.
It's okay.
So you can walk around with daggers, and you've got no problem if you get challenged with them. But anything bigger or more technological, you're in trouble.
How
All right.
how many stars is the system? Is it a single binary?
Single? Yeah, no, single. I'll tell you if it's an unusual system when you get into it, or when you look up the data. But no,
Okay.
it's a single system. I think I told you last time it has 4 planets. Aspis is the second planet. There's 2 gas giants, 1 close in orbiting the star, and the third one with the 4th planet being sort of a rocky, icy thing. Not much of a planet really, just it's a celestial body. It's counted as a planet.
Kind of like a moon or a Pluto type of thing.
Yeah, a tiny bit bigger than a Pluto. It's big enough to be considered a planet, not a dwarf planet, but just, yeah.
Okay. Are we coming out at the gas giant to refuel, or what are we doing?
Where were you
Always.
planning on? Always. So the close one by the sun. Well, I guess you can't go there, can you? Too close. So the outside one. Okay. No, that's all cool.
What size is the star? Is it? I mean, what's like the spread? The main planet? How many in AUs would you estimate?
The planet's main sequence normal, like Earth. Sorry, the star is a Earth-like star.
Okay.
But the gas giant orbits in Venus orbit.
The first gas giant. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a hot ball. It's a hot
Yeah.
gas giant.
Yeah. And it's
Cooking
roughly the size of half the size of Neptune. So it's a smallish gas giant.
Okay. So the main planet's about an AU out, like Earth. It's about that right distance.
It's just more cooler. It's a little bit further than Earth.
Okay.
It's definitely got a cooler climate.
And then the third planet is another gas giant, and the fourth planet is the ice rock.
Yeah, roughly in the orbit, just past the orbit of Jupiter, and the last planet is roughly they are actually quite close, just inside the orbit of Saturn. Roughly.
So there's a big empty space then. Is there an asteroid belt in that space? The big empty space between the gas giant and the main world?
No, it's just space. There's no asteroid belt.
Just empty space. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Interesting.
It's a different sort of system. Okay, so you've got some astrological stuff there. Sid, Tacoma, you are coming in by the big gas giant to be able to scoop up. You entering now?
Yep.
Okay, you enter now. Okay, Will, I need you on the... Give me a sensor roll, please. Add a +2.
Oh, okay, sorry. Gotta get to it.
This Discord works pretty good.
It does. They're bringing in video, so I don't know if I want that though, but anyway. And that's at with the +2 I gave you? Or no, that's not without A, that's a 7. Okay.
No, it would bring it up to 7.
7, okay. Well, you receive a message very shortly after you entering. First of all, you don't actually get anything else, you just get the message. The message is basically a stand 2. It's a fairly stock standard stand 2. Maintain your position, do not move any further. Customs units are going to be coming in on approach. Expected arrival is 9 hours. Yeah.
They could actually pick us up. We're up by the gas giant, though. We're a ways away from the main planet. So their technology, we're underestimating their technology if they're picking us up that fast.
And unfortunately, your sensors guy hasn't got a good role to be able to tell much else. You guys, you are receiving quite a lot of commercial airwave activity. There's shows, there's a lot of encoded stuff, but yeah, we'll just say it's encoded stuff for the moment because you don't have the ability to know what.
Is there a way to
Well, I've got comms.
Is there a way to tell if this thing's automated?
Do you have electronics? Can you give me a sensor roll?
Nope.
Okay.
Somebody does. One of our guys does.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
failed.
That's what he got.
I failed my roll. I can't do that
second.
again, can I?
Hang on. Just no. Once that's it.
I've got computers and I've got comms 1.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll help.
Yeah. Just see.
Engineer has electronics.
Who has?
I want to see if I can get hints about their current society from their entertainment broadcast. You know, like I love Commissar Lucy. That would be a dead giveaway.
That would be, wouldn't it? So Dave, can you roll please for Thomas? She's got electronics 1.
Okay.
So she can quickly jump on there and do the thing. So, and this is a so yeah, this is no +2. It's just a +1. Just a level, I should say. So either in Discord or in Roll20, whichever one you want.
The 7.
7 +1. Okay, same thing. Okay, so no, she can't really give you much more information either. And I don't think there's anyone else on board. I'll just have a quick squiz, but Rice doesn't. Luke, what does Luke do? Nope, Luke doesn't either.
I have electronics.
Oh, well, if you want to, go for it.
Okay.
Just trying to get everyone on the systems just to try to get something, to read something.
Yeah.
Can I do a comms roll? I got comms 1. If I can at least maybe like try to pick up their radio signals or see what television shows and stuff like that.
You do a comms. So, Lance, I'll just wait for you to do your comms roll. Okay.
I rolled a 12.
Radio. So, so 2 things. Samuel, you'll pick up a whole lot of commercial. You recognise it as commercially encoded stuff, and there is military encoded stuff as well. You can't, of course, break it, but you're aware of the difference, and you're aware that it is bouncing all over the system. Lance, you have actually picked up repeaters, and with your sensor roll, basically, this is a very electronically active system.
So they may have advanced in technology somehow.
A lot
on their own.
With Lance's info and yours together, you would compare this to be either approaching or at the same level of the average Imperium interstellar community.
Wow. So they're already there.
Mm.
Wow. So you're talking like tech level 12.
No, average is A.
Average is A, just at interstellar. Okay, tech level 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Interstellar community.
I'm pretty sure that's average, isn't it? Sorry if I was wrong.
Must have picked up some porn stations.
Haha, we got to get the porn.
That's easy. There's all those. You got credits. They take electronic credits.
Oh, he's probably hacked.
Community. Technically, average is B and C, Steve. I'm looking in the charts.
Sorry, okay,
tables.
A. So they're approaching average.
A would be interstellar.
Yep. So, but that's still a huge leap from 7.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't jumped on over to those other worlds and kind of scooped them up.
They have traveled to Samwenda. You know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the biggest jump, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what are you doing, Captain? You're waiting the 9 hours. Sorry, Lance. That message is a military message. It came from a military repeater. Stand 2.
Is there a way to detect whether or not there have been jumps in the system, in and out?
No.
Alright.
Well, sorry. You guys don't have the technology just yet. Sorry, that was not very accurate.
All right. Yeah.
Never
Shit.
mind.
I don't know if I want to stay again.
Well, they're not obviously the bad guys. I mean, we would have seen, a lot of, commercials for electronic slave shackles and stuff like that. So we can pretty much go with the flow.
Yep.
If
So
it's
you are getting a couple of public broadcasts.
Can we try? Can we try to respond to them?
Sure.
Do we
Well,
wanna...
at least we can make clear we're an exploratory thing.
Well, yeah, I'll explore them that we're explorers. I don't think I want to tell them that we're Imperium yet. Just
Okay,
in case
so
they hold something.
radio. So they answered back as they spout a little bit of, first of all, legalese gobbledygook paragraph thing, such and such says that we must protect our borders, so therefore we're asking you to stand to. We would rather engage with you peacefully. We just need to verify that you are who you are and that you pose no threat to the system. If so, you will be allowed to go about your business. If not, we'll take appropriate action as needed.
Easy enough.
All right, let's play it out then.
Let's
Okay.
go with it.
Rightio.
Eventually, when
Will,
we're
can you give me, and I know we've got everyone else lined up after you, Will, can you give me a sensor roll, please, as they get close enough for you to detect the ships?
I think they're
Oh,
probably on the level, but of us.
yeah, well, if we meet them face to face, we can ask how often they've had other visitors. If they've been isolated for years or not. Okay, electronics roll again. If the ships are approaching, better.
Cool. Okay, what you can pick up is 2 system defense boats.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't want to mess with that.
And just thinking, and where did you go? God damn it! Sorry. So it's 2 system defense boats, and no, that's not gonna grab it.
And we still have
He has to
healed
whip
up.
out a big accordion-shaped index card, with something called a battle condo. What the hell is that?
It's a moon. No, it's not. It's one of those things. Okay. What you can also tell, Will, is that there is something. There's a couple of smaller ships, you can't quite make out what they are just yet, that are also accompanying the 2 system defense boats. Yeah, at the moment you picked out 4 of them. You're not quite sure you're not sure what they are, but they're about 50 ton a piece.
So
And
probably
they're keeping pace with the other ships.
They are. They're all moving at 6G.
Oh,
6G too. We didn't get a chance to refuel first, huh? We just
Not
had to
yet.
sit here and wait for.
No. Yep, and you are no chance to jump because you've used the 4 jump to get here.
Yep.
So
All right.
nothing. Yeah.
We didn't have enough time to swoop down and refuel before they got here.
Nope.
No.
maybe we didn't hit
We're
close to
sitting
the
ducks
gas
now.
No. So they pull 2. You so as they're coming in, about half an hour before they come in, you get a video call. There's a woman comes up who identifies herself as Captain Larson. She says, I'm reading your transponder. It says here that you come from the Imperium.
Yes. Is there?
So what is your crew manifesto?
Manifest. Yeah.
Recon.
Manifest.
Yeah. Recon and exploration.
Our manifesto is freedom.
Not manifesto, sorry, manifest. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Manifesto is what we're going to go into soon. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so she wants to know numbers.
Yeah. Give her the details
Okay.
as truthfully as possible.
She's saying we're also picking up that your ship is quite heavily armed.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know what to expect out here,
Mm-hmm. All right. Um,
and yeah.
okay, so what I need to know, Tacoma, is what is your character's either skills or your social standing, or what's your social standing?
I think it's 7.
7. Okay. What are your skills apart from Steward 0?
I
That
think
might
that's
help you
it.
here. No admin, no bureaucracy, no
Nope.
leader, tactical.
Just Stuart.
You got leader, don't you?
Nah. Nope.
I have carousing 1,
Okay.
and I have a social standing of 10. If
Right.
you guys need me,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll help.
I have an admin of 1, and then and sorry, steward of 1.
Okay, so, Captain, are you going for yourself? You handing it over to Faceman Nagan, or are you handing it down to Samuel Rogers? No one
Well,
else seems
Don't
Negan.
we have a?
Didn't you have
Let's
what,
say
sorry?
Negan's a high something, isn't he?
He's supposed to
Yeah,
be your
Megan's like
Faceman.
our political officer. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
our political officer. Or whatever.
I'd already gotten used to him being the talky guy, so
Okay,
yeah.
radio. Nagan, you're shoved in front of the video screen.
Okay. I go, hello. um, uh, to
Captain Larson.
request, is it Captain Larson?
Yep, of the Nightingale. That's the name of his ship.
May we help you?
Yeah, you sit there pretty and everything's cool. Everything will be. So she just wants to know how you've managed to jump into Aspis territory. From which direction? Where from? What's this name of the planet?
Oh, I go, well, we came from the Imperium.
No, she means your last jump. Where did you come from to here?
I guess we'll tell the truth.
San Wenda.
Yeah. Okay, radio. So she says, do you have any? Okay, well this might be a interesting meeting then. If you manage to see, okay. After they sort of approach and you can see all their progress, they're not hiding anything. Can you, Samuel? Not Samuel. Sorry, Will. Can you give me another sense check, please? With a +1, they're around about 10 minutes out. It's not quite visual, but they're bloody close. Okay, those 4 pieces are actually 6. There are 2 hiding behind them. They're 50 ton, and let's see, what are you reading on them? Beam laser, missile rack. They're probably some sort of heavy fighter, is what your guesstimate would be. And they're all moving at 6G. Or decelerating at 6G right now.
All right, so I relay that information. It's pretty clear they're an outgrowth of the original Navy.
Rightio. So, they come into view. You guys, what you can see is some very impressive ships. The heavy fighters are very impressive. 50 ton a pop, 6 of them. They buzz around you like extremely angry wasps. They take up basically a circular sort of stance around the mid of your ship. If they were to fire with lasers and cut through, you'd be cut in half, sort of thing.
Yeah, we'd be toast
The
right now.
destroyers sort of face themselves front on. A small gig detaches. You get a instruction to prepare to be boarded. Any resistance will be met with like force. Be prepared to be inspected.
Yeah, okay. We turn off the anti-hijack program stuff and all that.
Or leave it on to see what happens. No, no.
Yeah, and then pull down our pants.
Yeah,
Get ready for the anal probes. Yeah.
yeah, that's the one. Okay, so they lock on, the airlocks cycle through. The first things that come through the airlocks, they're not what you expected. They're actually two, they look more like dog robots than anything else. They're quadruped robots. Um, they have um, rotating camera heads, I guess is what you'd say, contained in a small box, 4 legs, one in each corner, and they just seem to walk in. They've got some sort of writing or something on them, can't quite see what it is or make it out. But basically the robots enter. You're asked to open up your God, my brain is not working today at all. Airlock door.
We will open it.
Okay. The dogs enter. They don't appear to have any weaponry on them. These automatons move through, check out most areas. There's one waiting outside the cockpit. Are you going to let it in?
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you say, guys?
Okay, it just
Here, we'll
moves
our
in. It's
jokes.
roughly the size of a tall greyhound. Yeah, roughly the same bulk.
Yeah, yeah,
Is-
yeah.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look like it's made for combat. It's more made for reconnaissance,
Surveillance. It's a sniffer dog.
pretty much.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a speaker as it sort of pans up to you, and you can hear the captain's voice in it saying, hello, so you'd be Captain... Sorry, what name did you give her? Tacoma?
Tacoma?
Okay, Captain Tacoma, rightio. She said there are these two reconnaissance bots are just checking out before we enter the ship. We've had experience elsewhere where what seems to be fine actually turned out not to be. So you'll excuse our analness about this.
Well, we're hoping this isn't a trap either, so...
Good. Well, if it is, she says, we've well and truly got you by the curlies.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm. Right, so the dogs take all of about half an hour to go through most of the ship. Are you ordering them just to let them have access to wherever they want to go?
Not the ship's locker.
Can Negan accompany them? Show them,
Of course you can.
them around? Yeah. We'll do that instead. I don't feel giving codes for ships to dogs, even if they are robots.
Well, yep. I mean, you don't give it to them. You can just open them and close the doors. That's all you have to do. These dogs
Negan can do it.
Yeah, I mean, apart from viewing and taking sensor readings, these dogs don't look like they can pretty much interact anyway, apart from like ramming themselves into something.
Yeah, Negan with the short one, and he's the... Yeah.
Right.
He can show
So
them
the
around.
dogs will go through and check every room, including the ship's locker. They don't seem to worry about what's in the ship's locker. They just want to know what's in the ship's locker. They'll go through everything. They'll board the gig. They'll check in the gig. And once the dogs are sort of heading back towards, they just automate. Negan, you're thanked for your cooperation. You sort of, both the dogs... Sorry, Dave?
That those risque items, the dress and the bunny shoes in my locker are not mine.
How did that get in there? Yeah. Okay, so once the dogs sort of meet at the airlock, again, as they're moving off, you get this thank you. We'll be boarding momentarily. The airlock cycles through. They leave. Then, Captain Tacoma, you get a request to board your ship.
Given.
Rightio. So, on walks basically the Captain Larson, and she's accompanied by 3 men. two of them who are lightly armoured have what look like snub pistols, and yeah, that's about their armament. And another man who's carrying some sort of tablet device, has a small camera, obviously recording and taking notes sort of thing. She walks on board with them. She introduces herself, her men, and Negan, I guess you're meeting her there, so she'd like to be taken to see your captain wherever that's most appropriate.
No, no, I'll go up to Negan with her.
Okay.
It'll just be Negan and I.
Okay, so do you want to take her off to the common area or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, who else is there in the common area?
I don't exactly want to show up military strength.
Okay, so you've got everyone still quietly sitting in the gunnery
Doing
seats?
doing their work, yeah.
Okay, rightio. Rightio, we'll sit
Me
down.
and we are in engineering, obviously. Then we'd
Yep.
be in the engines.
Okay. What I need you to do then is, so you guys make your rolls. So Jerry, if you want to make another engineering roll.
Sure.
So, she sits down and asks you, what's your intention coming into system?
Reconnaissance.
Ooh,
Don't say
God.
that.
Yep. Reconnaissance. Reconnaissance for who?
For the Imperium, we were understood that this sector's been dark for a while, for over 100 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and we are now just assessing what's happening. Did I say Empire or Imperium?
Imperium, yep.
Okay.
Well, she asked to see your credentials and your, if that's possible.
Yeah.
Okay, she hands those over to the guy who digitizes them, and prints out a little something. Rightio. She just keeps talking to you about any experiences you're willing to share with her from Samwenda.
No, it's rather, they're just chugging along back there. They're not quite able to jump yet, but, give them a few years, they'll probably be up to where,
Rightio. So they're like, we sent a ship there.
Yes, that's
Much earlier
why we
on.
came here. Instead of
Did
particular.
is the ship still in one piece? I guess you wouldn't be able to bring any of the survivors. That was about 20 odd years ago.
Apparently it crash land on a moon.
Oh, rightio. Did the people in Samwenda, were they able to share any other information about the fate of the ship or the people?
No, apparently they all died on impact. They salvaged as much of the ship as they could. There wasn't really a lot left, but yeah,
Right.
that's about it. Nothing really too big or fantastic that happened in Samwenda, except for they've been by themselves for a while.
Yep.
That ship was like the first contact they've had in the last 100 years.
Okay. She asks, have you been anywhere else in the subsector?
We have been to Juliet.
Yes.
That place does not look good at all. It has deteriorated. Unless someone can get help to them, it's probably going to keep going down. Pretty much, there is no government, there is no law. It's all just anarchy over there.
Right.
There is a little bit of colony that are trying to do something, but it's unlikely that they'll ever get higher than where they are now.
Okay. Right. So you guys sort of share a little bit. So she shares that Aspis has well, she can't share too much with you, but she does share that if you would like to, as she said, you're completely clear. You can come and go as you please, but there would be many people from the tenocracy who would be very interested in talking to you about your experiences, as well as, I guess, yeah, sharing information.
No, we have no problems sharing information, but
Right.
we would like to know what's happening within the sector, what has happened in the last 100 years.
Okay, well,
Since we're spies for the evil empire, we want you to give something up as well.
okay.
Like your firstborns.
Like
Yeah.
firstborn? Yeah. Excellent.
What happened?
No, I was gonna go into word processing and do a word art about, you know, this credential is to certify that these explorers are part of the Galactic Imperium of really nice guys. So please treat them right.
Right.
We're here on a purely peaceful mission, and our number one rule is not to interfere with anybody's
Shoot to
development.
kill. Shoot to kill.
So yeah, we want to come down there and have sex
Oh.
with all your women and
No. Our Imperial
interfere with
credentials
your
are
social
great.
structure.
Our galactic
Where's the
credentials
porn?
are great.
If she heard all of you guys going like that, she'd say, you guys
Oh.
are schizophrenic.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we want you to join our federation, and if you don't,
Turn the comms off.
fuck you.
Might be the safest
Oh,
thing to come over to do right now.
I do an Uhuru and I say, Captain, I made a mistake. They use a phonetic alphabet. So when I got I love Lucy, it's actually I love
I'm gonna
Lucy.
mute all these guys.
And that's their porn.
Will you shut up?
Okay.
We're not really seeing this. We're just
No,
talking.
No,
this is,
you did it.
yeah, this is something that Sid's character probably would think you probably would do if he let you meet with her, so that's why you're all doing work.
Yeah.
Okay, so she...
And turn the comms off.
Yeah, so she's happy if you want to. She'd think it would be better though if you had an escort of 2 of the fighters to take you down to Aspis itself.
Would we be able to refuel first?
Certainly. I mean, we have areas where you can refuel if you want to, but if you want to refuel off the gas giant, it's up to you.
Yeah. We don't want to use too much of your resources.
Mm-hmm.
However, in visiting Juliet and Samwenda,
Mm-hmm.
we've noticed that the disappearance of the scout stations. Is there still one here?
No. Once they lost contact with each other, and I understand that Goober's scout base is gone too. I don't know what happened, but basically, there's no scout base here, and
What about the
pretty
naval
early
base?
on, they pretty much packed up and took off. We don't know what for, or where to, or why.
Wait, the scouts just left?
They packed up and took off.
How'd they move a station?
No. They left the husk of the station, but they took as much as they could, and they all jumped out of system.
All the scouts, that's... because I am a scout,
Mm-hmm.
is there a reason why they would do I know of a reason why scouts would do that?
This is the thing. The scout bases here aren't Imperium scouts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're Stardust scouts, so they have their own sort of little organization. So, but it's based loosely on the scouts.
If it's based loosely on the scouts, what about just general information from Imperium scouts then?
They don't know much. There wasn't much left over to gain the information.
No, I'm talking about my own information. Like,
Yeah.
why would Imperium scouts then leave, like the way they did?
The only reason, there's only 2 reasons Imperium scouts would leave. One is in the face of overwhelming odds and to try to secure and save as much information for the Imperium, or the second one would be because they were ordered by the Imperium to leave.
So there's a big information cache somewhere then. Okay. And the naval base is still here?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you guys still have jump, right?
Yeah, we have jumped. We were able to bootstrap ourselves up a little bit after the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yep. So,
I got a question, Sid. Wouldn't it be wise if maybe we explore some of the abandoned scout bases? See if there's any
well, let's one
clues.
step at a time.
Yep.
Jerry. Because I'm
Okay.
about to ask about the other planets, seeing as if they can go there. Like, so what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what information? How are the other planets doing?
We haven't really gone that far out of our subsector. We've got records of trips to Norkuri, Guber, and Pedicula. I really can't give you much information, and of course Samwinder, but I'm sure if you talk to the technocracy, the technocrats, then I'm sure they'll organise an exchange of information. But
Yes, because our next
lately,
destination.
we're jump capable, we only tend to go to Guba, and those are usually military organisations, which of course I can't talk too much about.
Yeah.
Actually, I probably already said too much, she says. But
Yes.
again, you can talk to the technocrats and share information there. But she just wants to make sure that you're happy to have that fighter. Um,
The fighters follow. Yeah.
yeah, just it will just help keep others away from you. You can get down safely to not that you're in any danger, but news
Are
does
there?
travel very quickly through the system that you are the first ship to jump in system since the fall.
Are we able to take a look at your husk of a scout station?
I'm sure you can organise that with the technocrats. There's not much there.
All right. Well,
It's been pretty much taken over now. It's more of a depot than anything else. You probably have to get permission because it's in the new construction.
area. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk to the technocrats,
Okay.
particularly about Goober. I think that's
hmm
that's what we were looking to go to next. So
Okay.
we just want to know whether or not
Yep.
there's anything dangerous we should be worried about.
She sort of smiles and gives you a little bit of a knowing laugh. Raises her eyebrows as if to say, "Oh, there's stuff."
All right.
Um,
Well,
So she leaves. She thanks you. She leaves you behind. She gives you the escort. They head into sister. Oh well, first of all, I just need a quick piloting roll, please, for you to do the thing to refuel or get your tanks full anyway.
+3.
+3. Okay, rightio. You're in and you're out. Take a couple of hours. Not a big major. And then the escort. So okay. So the lieutenant asks, "What's your top speed that you want to travel at in system?"
What's the legal limit?
He laughs. We travel at 6G, sir. Is your ship capable of 6G?
Well, you're definitely faster than us. We can only go 4G.
Would you like to travel in at 4G, sir?
Yep.
Alrighty. So he gives you some, basically some location waypoints to move to. This is we'll be following alongside you. This is all safe. There's no dangerous places in the system, but it's just you keep to this line. This is a military fly zone, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
will not be impeded by anybody. Um,
We get, yeah, we get the VIP
so
section.
68 hours away is Aspis. So just over 3, yeah, just over 3 days. Just under 3 days, I should say.
Right, hopefully we were studying and stuff like that.
Yep. So coming in, the little fighters, they travel all the way in with you.
Are we able to get any news cycle
Of course you
coming from the
can.
planet?
Yep.
Yeah, let's see what's going on there.
So you want premium news or just general news?
Does premium news cost money?
You have to be able to buy it, yeah, so you won't be able to get that just yet. Because
Oh, so I
you
won't be able to
can't
get it.
go into buy to get, yeah. So you get general news. So general news is more like pop culture news. So
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
on
That's one.
Espus, it's quite an entertaining place. There's you get a whole lot of ads for those who are interested in a lot of porn stuff, but of course you can't actually access this, so you can't buy it yet until you get to Espus. So you're only teased and tantalized.
Bummer.
Yeah. And they seem to cover a wide range of fetishes. Anyway, enough of that. The other stuff is they have a very healthy entertainment section. They have news and technology of general things. So what you can tell in general is that Aspis is a thriving place. They talk about the new construction field opened up in the old scout base zone on the moon. That's given lots of jobs. They're talking about increased safety. They're talking about all this sorts of stuff. And then you get this odd little thing about, but be alert. If you see anything out there, ensure that you do contact the authorities. And remember, it is against the law, and this is where it's odd. It's against the law to approach a derelict or ship that is sending out an SOS that does not have a transponder from Aspis.
We technically are. I guess we didn't throw out an SOS though.
No, but apparently it is against the law, and that is usually that would be held against the like interstellar law of anyone sends out an SOS, you go to help them, anyone.
Alright. Well,
But apparently here it's against the law for some reason,
That's weird.
and unless
cool.
that is also unless they have an Aspis transponder.
Well, there could be like some sort of weird ass political war between them and Gooba or somewhere else. But anyway, yeah, let's follow the thing, the line.
Yep, and so they have lots of entertainment shows and
Yeah,
all
whatever.
that sort of stuff. It seems to be quite a pleasant little place. There's lots of work. There's lots of entertainment. There's stuff. It doesn't seem to be an oppressed society at all. It has that one weird rule, but apart from that, everything seems to be very above board and seems to be pretty open.
Very cool.
Yeah. As you're flying closer, you get into orbit. You fly in between the planet and the moon. You can, let's see how close you go to the moon. Whether you're going to do a pass by the moon or not.
Can I do a survey of the moon?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you can. No, you don't. The moon's not far away, but you can try to do a remote survey. It adds a +2 to the difficulty. So you now need to hit a 10.
I'll check with them see if I could do it, because I don't want to just do something.
Well, it won't look odd because you're not. Okay, no, I'll leave it to you. So you check with them, and they say that perhaps you should wait until you talk to the technocrats.
Yeah, alright, we'll do that first.
Okay, so you come into the planet. It's beautiful, green, blue, fluffy, clouds. You detect. Okay, they have a starport, orbital starport, and there's lots going on in this orbital starport. you would, if it weren't for the classification, you would think this is possibly an A-star port, because they actually have a shipyard, and they do seem to be building ships. And it's quite a complex, this starport.
You tell what kind of ships they're building?
I think anyone can give me an intelligence roll, please. Yep. You're all, except for Tacoma and Nagin. You guys probably... Yeah, oh no, you guys can give me one too. Your results just vary. Yeah. So, you can definitely see that some military style vehicles are being made. You can also see that there are some really small fast vehicles being made, and there seem to be some bulk carriers of some sort being made. You would guess that some of the fast ones are big enough to be jump capable, as well as some of the bulk carrier ones, and the military ones definitely look like they are being fitted with jump engines. So they're all potentially jump capable vessels. They are building, I mean, there's some obvious that they're building just in system, you know, like 20 tons and that sort of stuff. Those things are pretty obviously in system. But the fast ones, we're talking like 100 tons, that sort of thing. Not quite standard designs, they're all sort of vaguely familiar designs, but they've all got slightly different. You know, if you're talking about the standard Suleiman Scout Courier, looks slightly different. If you're talking about the 200 Far Trader, looks slightly different. And then you've got the...
But similar.
Yeah, vaguely based like based on the chassis, but there's been some sort of modifications. So
I rolled a 7 and my intelligence is 7, so I don't know if we're rolling under or how you're doing
that's okay.
that. Or...
That's all cool. So that's generally what you get though, guys. Samuel, you'll pick out that indeed, because you're an engineer, the rest aren't. Indeed, some of those small ships are being you can verify they are being fitted with jump drives.
So they are jump capable.
Yep.
Jump.
At least the little ones are.
So we know they're more on the level of an A starport then.
Yeah.
And their technology level is around an A.
Yep.
And do we have any sense about their population, which is probably way more than 6 million now?
Not really. That part really isn't that clear. You come in, Captain. I need a piloting roll, please. It's pretty standard, so give yourself a +2 on top of that. Easy as, sweet, smooth. You will notice that there are, as you're coming in, you're being given adjustments to avoid satellites. There seems to be some pretty standard communication satellites. There seem to be even some small private satellites or small station hab units in orbit above the planet. And can you, Will, please give me an electron sensor check, please?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Here we go.
Yep. Well, you're picking up signatures. They also have orbital space platform defense platform, basically a defense platform. Several of them sort of encasing the planet.
Okay. Now, they seem to be interested in jumping. Are they planning to invade? Is that the idea?
Oh, the numbers are way too small for that as far as you can see right now.
Like, are these more like defensive?
We're talking like, all up, they've got about 7 ships being built. Of those 3 main hull types. and then they've got perhaps another 6 or 7 or 8 of the in-system ships. And the in-system ships range from haulers, yeah, no obvious fighters in the in-system ships yard.
Okay, I don't know if this really implies any sort of negative intent.
Yeah.
Could be defensive, could be offensive.
Yeah, at the moment it's hard to tell which way, but the fact that they have a planetary-wide system platform defense is interesting to you, perhaps. You come in Tacoma, you're guided to Altair Starport down. You come in, it's a big, beautiful... This thing is definitely an A. It's a ground A starport. You can't make any mistake about that. It's too... It's got too many amenities not to be an A. It's quite an active building. You are in a... There's lots of runway space and landing space. It's quite busy with lots of in-system ships. So at the moment, this port is just from just doing a quick scan, would have around about 40 ships in and around it right now. You're directed to a specific runway. The heavy fighters, as you start to come in, they sort of escort you right down until you actually touch down, and then they fly off. They thank you and wish you well and make their exit. You're directed to go to... You're actually taken away from where a lot of the other ships are operating. It doesn't look menacing or anything, it just looks not busy. It doesn't look like there's hardly anything there. Your ship is going to be provided with a hangar. You can take it into. Yeah, that's about it really. You can, once you're sort of in the hangar, you are ready to hop out. You're instructed that once your ship's gone through a basic decontamination process, you'll get the all clear. They want to know whether you want to be hooked up to any systems. Do you wish to purchase life support fuel? Do you want to have an uplink established? All that sort of stuff. So decide what you want. So the life support is going to be standard cost if you want to buy it. The uplink is going to cost you 10 credits a day, and it looks like fairly standard operating. You're not being charged for the berth. You don't expect to be charged for the berth until after, I think it's 100 credits after the first 6 days or something.
Alright, yeah. We don't need fuel because we've already fueled up.
Yeah.
Just top up on the life support that we've probably lost to the jump. And yeah, I guess we could use the uplink, see what's going on.
Okay, so there's a range of so the basic uplink will give you connection to the world's internet, and an awful lot of stuff there, but there's of course a whole lot of what is typically called premium level information. But the uplink will give you access to news feeds and all that sort of data. The internet will give you access, or limited access, to like their library world encyclopedia data. So with that 10 credits is going to give you a lot of access to a vast array of stuff. For those of you who really need it, you're going to be paying another 10 credits if you want access to the pawn.
That's coming out of your own pocket if you want that.
Mm-hmm.
But the premium uplinks for the news and all that stuff, and the libraries.
Yep, that's all part of that initial 10 credits.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to settle for what we've already got on file. Darn.
Damn.
You can pay for it yourself. Like, it's only 10 credits. It's what, $100?
Yeah, something like, yeah. And that's for the whole week. And you have gigabyte download speeds, guys. Just saying.
So you mean we could bank on a download in a day? We could do a 10 credit day and take it all down, or what?
You won't take it all down, but you'll take significant amounts. You can take
Yeah,
significant.
like they'd have terabytes full of information.
Yeah, yeah.
And we don't want to just blow our wad on the one planet.
Well, some of them are planning on blowing their wads, but in a different sense. Moving
Yeah.
away from that. Moving away from that. So you get the all clear Tacoma that your ship's gone through decontamination. They'd like to welcome you to Aspis. There is a welcoming party on the upper level, section C of the starport. They have an individual coming in. You can see a guy driving a one of those little train things with a whole lot of little trailers with seats on them. And you're invited to meet representatives of the planet.
Yeah, the council of
Technocrats.
Yeah. I think me and Negan can do that ourselves.
Okay, so what are the other guys? Because you guys.
I think we'll bring Samuel as well. He's got
Okay.
corrals and
Yeah.
everyone else. I don't know. Don't wreck things.
Okay, the rest of you guys, you're free to go off on the planet, wherever and whatever you want to do.
Yeah, they're free to do whatever they want. Just don't
Yep.
fucking set anything off.
Yeah,
destroy anything.
you say that, and you know it's gonna happen anyway.
You know, we can't start a world war or an interstellar conflict. I'm with you. I can't.
Well, you're coming with me. So.
Yeah, I gotta be good. All right, Skipper, I'll be good.
So, can I just ask, just very, very briefly, is Will or Sergeant Lance planning on doing anything right now?
Let me see what my function usually would be.
Let me go have a bear somewhere.
Yeah, and try not to, you know. I mean, Hitler set off some shit in a bar. We don't want to do that.
Glenn, anything your character's going to do? Oh, you're typing. Okay. Okay. If you give me a sensor roll for that. Okay, radio. Will you also be looking on the interwebs for that as well?
Sorry, you cut out, Steve.
Sorry. Will you also be looking on the interwebs for that as well? For the insurgent stuff?
No.
Okay. So...
because I am going to assume that the interwebs are monitored.
Okay. You find some local users of the old style shortwave. These tend to be mostly enthusiasts or like, you know, of that sort of thing, and the chat is relatively inane. But there are a couple of others that seem to be broadcasting interesting little things. Did you want to record these at all, or are you just happy just to listen to them?
Just listen. Well, yes, I will just listen to them.
Yeah, they seem to be going on about... Yeah, it takes you a good half an hour because these guys are quite convoluted in their little... you think possibly they're a little bit deluded, but they start talking about the others and how the powers that be are working with them at Goober.
There's some shit going on here.
And yeah, it doesn't... It sounds all very ominous, but it's very, very... Obviously, there's very little factual stuff that you can pick out of it, but there's some interesting stuff that... Well, there's stuff that might prove interesting or important. Just the fact that they are... You know, there's... Yeah... Just some of the stuff they say, it's not just a rant that just goes and then goes in different directions, that they do have a little bit of a common thread to some of their rant. And the main message that they seem to be talking to each other about are these things called, or these people called, the others, and about how the present government is actually working in collusion with them be prepared for the day, you know, stock up. It happened once, and you think they're probably
Conspiracy
referring,
theory.
yeah, possibly. You think they're probably referring to what's been called the fall. It happened once, and you know, you know, they just go on. But that's sort of what you sort of hear, and every now and then you get interesting little snippets of information that you wouldn't assume that a ranting person would have, like Goober. That's sort of came out of left field, and you go, well, why would someone who's, you know, what do they know, sort of thing. That's interesting, or what do they think they know. So you're sort of picking up more on that vibe than any sort of insurgents. It's more of a possibly a conspiracy theory sort of vibe, more than a civil war sort of vibe. They also talk a bit about the build up on the moon. We know what they're doing up there. Yeah. I mean, a lot of resources goes into construction up there. Why do they need all that construction? We know what they're doing. They're just building
They
up for
didn't
those
want us to go
others.
near that moon, did they? They guided us away from that, right? We had to follow their route.
They just said you'd need to get permission first. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Really, it wasn't a don't go there or we'll shoot you sort of thing. Yeah.
But they won't let us just fly around without that fighter alongside us.
Well,
We gotta have
you got the escort. That whether that was for your protection
Yeah.
or their protection or something else, you're not really
I
sure.
think it's a little bit of both. I'm getting the
Yeah.
feeling.
So you guys, so that's what happens with you at the moment, Glenn. Sorry, Pierre, were you doing something? Going to a bar or something, or not?
That's all. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't have
Okay.
any ideas.
Rightio. So anyone else who's free who can. So I'd say probably Thomas would be staying on board doing whatever she's doing. Luke would probably stay on board. Gaius would probably stay on board. The others might want to just go for a wander with you, just to see what's happening. And what you do notice, you all travel on this little train of hitched trailer things on this back of this thing. You can breathe here fine. It is heavy to breathe. The atmosphere is dense, and in the distance of say around about 500 feet, it's something you have to get used to. The atmosphere is so dense that light does a little, you know how you get that sort of wavy line sometimes, heat lines? It does the same sort of thing here, but it's not heat. So at around a bit of a distance, around about 500 feet, you get that sort of wavy, sort of slight distortion in the atmosphere. So things look a little bit odd. But apart from
Cool.
that, you're breathing fine. No other issues. It is a little bit hard to breathe at first, but you get used to it relatively quickly. There's nothing major there. There's no taints or anything. It's just a thicker atmosphere, and it's just that little bit heavier to move and utilize. So you guys all disembark at a gate where there's some probably guards or possibly security. You're not quite sure, but they have some sort of uniform, and they are all welding what looked to be some form of Uzi type weapon, so a semi-automatic, whatever. And they're in uniforms, as I said. You guys are then go into the building, where the atmosphere doesn't seem to change. Everyone seems to be quite okay with this atmosphere, apart from you guys. So they haven't changed the atmosphere at all. And there is a whole lot of people waiting. There's a whole lot of people waiting, and there's some signs saying "Welcome to Espis" and "Take me to your leader" and some really, all those sort of weird things that you'd expect. It's more of a celebratory sort of feel to the place, not a demonstration or anything. So, Will, you and your folk, are you going to leave the group at this stage, or are you going to stick with the crowd, with the group and the escort? Pierre.
I don't know. Stick with the escort.
Okay. So you guys are led through these people. There's cameras and there's recorders and all sorts of things, and people waving and all that. Several news people are trying to get to the front to ask you questions. You're in a sort of a cordoned off area where you can move quite freely, and either side of you there's a couple of these escort. You move through, you go to a big huge lift, you guys take out the lift, you go up, you exit, there's a big huge room that's just not really full of too many people. They just seem to be quietly eating. There's a couple of guards around the place. Your escorts don't leave the elevator or anything. They seem to go back down. There's around about 3 dozen people here. The room here would be a very large conference hall sort of thing with an open window that opens out, that looks over the starport. The pressure in here is a little bit lower, so it's a bit easy to breathe, but it's not your level, so it's sort of somewhere in between. There are 6 people, like the people here are dressed in sort of much more formal attire, and there's 6 individuals who are dressed very distinctly from the rest. They all have sort of I guess, I don't know what you call them, but you know, those neck down to the feet sort of dress, the shift things, whatever you call them, I don't know, robes. All of them white, and they all have a slightly different trim, metallic trim on them: gold, silver, copper, a dark red, a pale blue. But there's 6 of them there, and they all seem to be quite polite, happy people, and you're invited to sit down. They sit down. You're at a big huge round table. Food is served, water, a drink is served. Yeah, so they just introduce themselves. These are the deputy leaders of the technocrats. So they're sort of the second in charges. And they just introduce, I won't give them names, but they just introduce themselves, and they ask you your names. And they pretty much do a little bit of small talk, but they get pretty much into the business of things relatively quickly. They sort of generally ask sort of which planet system and that sort of thing, and what was your experience, and all that sort of stuff. And then they sort of get into, so welcome to the planet. One guy stands up, he's got sort of the pale blue trim. He welcomes you to the planet again. He hopes that your stay here is a comfortable one and a pretty profitable one. And as they sort of, he says that, of course, first of all, we'll have a meal and spend some time in polite conversation, and then we'll move into a private area where we can perhaps talk a little bit more clearer, or about certain pieces of information that we may both find profitable to each other.
Would it be disrespectful if we just go straight to the heavy talk?
If you wish to, he says, it's entirely up to you. And this is where your crowd might decide just to stay and eat, because they don't really have any interest in the other stuff. There's drink and food and pretty girls around.
Well, hold on. Is this for Will doing whatever, or?
Well,
I subtly recommend to the skipper that when I want to use my social standing and my carousing, that we go through the protocol and go through the small talk, because I want to try to use some charm and some social skill to get them to open up more, so that when we get to the deep talk, we can get more. I want to try to squeeze, get as much out of them as we can. There's a lot more here to the picture.
All right, I'll turn back to them and go, you know what, then again, I am feeling a little hungry.
Okay. Rightio. A meal, fine. Okay, so you sit there talking and all that sort of stuff and have a meal. So, Samuel and Negan and anyone else who is in that line of work, who's got anything. So, alpha level of steward, any carousing, admin, or anything of that nature. Tactics also. would be an allowable roll here.
Do I get any bonuses for my social standing being 10, or is it just a
No, because
carousing roll?
your social standing at the moment doesn't have any impact on them.
Yeah, that
Okay,
was for
so just
Cool.
I rolled a 10.
Yep. Okay. Rightio. So, Nagan, what do you want to sort of try to direct the talk to? What sort of area of information you're trying to find out stuff about?
I'm trying to find out what's going on in general internationally between them and the neighboring systems, and find out if there's any sort of conflict that we should be aware of.
Rightio. The stuff that you pick up on is that that there is no international relations. There doesn't seem to be any conflict, although they, yeah, you get a.
I think he was meaning galactic situation.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Yep. They get you sort of get an odd feeling that they don't like what's happening in particular without knowing what's happening. Yeah, that's all you sort of get from there. And yeah, there is no other people. After the incident 20 years ago in when nobody came back from Samwenda, they thought it best. They didn't know what might have happened, so they thought it best not to send anybody else there. At least the people came back from Peticula and Goober and Nukoran. But yeah, Samwenda, they never came back. So yeah, they may very well establish ties with Human 10 and Ioun, but at the moment they're trying to work out what's happening in their own subsector before they move into any other subsector. That's sort
So
of
more or
the gist
less,
that you get.
more or less, Steve, they've developed jump drive, but it's not out in the public. It's more of a military thing, and they've only done a few expeditions out from their home system. What you're saying?
You can make that inference. You're not talking to that particular group of people, so you have to wait for Nagan. What do
If you
you
want me to
find
roll
out?
again, I
No?
kind of want to talk, or I kind of want to feel out, or use my carousing roll to feel out more or less how they feel about the Dark Knight and that some of that conspiracy stuff Glenn was listening to. I mean,
Jerry, that
yeah.
was only Glenn. Only he knew about that.
Oh, I didn't hear
We
that.
were already
Okay.
gone.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
I think
alright,
we're a little confused on who's where.
Yep. So
It's only Tacoma, Samuel, and Nagin who's in this meeting, right?
no, Will and all his crowd, because they stayed with you. They didn't leave. So
Oh, but they went out and had a beer.
Sergeant Lance, the engineer, and the two NPCs I created are back on ship.
Well, okay, then based on what I'm understanding, I wonder why they haven't jumped out to more worlds or reached out more or gone further. And I'm trying to feel them out based on now and the history of the Dark Knight.
No, Steve.
Yep.
Yeah, Pierre just said he went out for beer.
Did you just get cut off? Said I only heard half the sentence. Out there is what I heard.
Sorry, Pierre just said he went out for a beer.
Yeah, in the chat, I'm not actually at the council thing.
Well, you're not. No, you're just at the food and drinking thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nearby.
You guys have just stayed at the party, so to speak. That's all. Yeah. Okay. So,
But you got what I said though, right? About the
yep.
the Dark Knight, and why haven't they jumped further and more in this time frame if they have jump drive?
So basically, it took them a good 50 years before they actually became jump capable. And they only could do that because they had enough ships to cannibalize to understand, and then they were lucky enough to find some lanthanum and be able to produce their own stuff. They had done some sorties out. There's not a hell of a lot around. Yeah, no coon. There's really no one there anymore. Goober's got its own problems, and you don't sort of get much more than that from them.
How do they
Pedicula,
know about the Imperium, Steve? I mean, they knew we were from the
they got
Imperium. They
history.
know about.
They got
It's,
history.
it's
Oh,
only
okay.
100 years.
120 years, yeah.
Like, we still know
Pedicula,
about
you
France
get,
and all that.
yeah, you get that same message that they don't like the setup in Pedicula, and they don't feel that it's in their best interest to actually go there again. They may once they decide, the council decide to put in more resources, um, and are able to produce ships capable of moving further afield.
That's pretty interesting. So they don't like the setup on Pedicula, but they won't give us any information about that setup or what they don't like.
Well, they are okay. So you got a good roll. So you get the only extra bit of information is that the powers that be on this planet are against how the powers that be on that planet operate.
So is it kind of like a cultural difference between capitalism and communism kind of thing?
It could be a cultural difference. There is some disagreement difference there. It's not an all-out war.
Okay.
It's just we
They
don't have
haven't,
anything
yeah.
to do with them.
Like a Cold War thing, huh?
More of a Cold War than anything else. Yeah.
Are we able to
Gotcha.
ask what's going on?
They would politely tell you if you ask Tacoma that perhaps that could be talked about at a later time.
Alright.
These guys are sort of talking the two are talking quietly by the people as they come and go with food and stuff, and trying to slightly just sort of the cut and thrust of general small talk, try to sort of weave some things in with the people who are around them, sort of thing. And that's sort of,
I'm
that's
gonna
sort of where they're getting their
Yeah,
messages from.
Tacoma's gonna shut his mouth.
Except to
Start
eat.
eating.
Food is very nice. The food is very nice. You're robot again, Jerry.
Yeah.
Still, you stopped now.
I just muted. What happened?
You were roboting. I don't know if you were saying anything.
No, I'm not saying anything. I was talking
Okay.
now.
Yeah,
So
no, it just was roboting
it's
by
not
itself.
because I muted.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting down now. I was walking around.
Okay.
All right.
Right. So the meal goes on. You guys whoever's supposed to be at the meeting, they're invited to go to the meeting. The others are invited to stay there and drink and eat as much as they want to and carouse. And I'm sure you're all like that. So you guys head off to the meeting. Just before you do that, Glenn, can you give me another sense roll? Okay. Right, no, you're not going to tell much from that. No, you won't. Okay. The rest of you go into this meeting with these deputies. A very comfortable lounge sort of area. Either coffee or some sort of spirits and some sort of cigarette or something. It's that sort of setup. It's sort of casual but business at the same time. So, obviously...
Is it kind of like the cigar lounge? The cigar and brandy lounges of the turn of the century?
Sort of, yeah. So, well, not quite like that, but like think of it as an upper tech version of that.
Okay.
So they start talking. They just start saying, Captain Larson gave us a report saying where you'd been. Okay, cool. Thank you, Sergeant Lance. I'll note that. And they just want to know if there's anything further you could share with them, or you want to talk about a sharing agreement. Is there anything that you feel you want to know a little bit more about that we might have information? Our interest, of course, is into trying to reconnect the various systems within our subsector first, and then look at trying to reconnect with the wider sector.
Okay, but we're understanding that you've got to kill.
Breaking up, Sid. Yeah, I've got only getting half of your conversation. Sorry.
Hold on, hold on.
Yep.
I might actually. Am I better now?
A little
Hello?
bit.
It's sort of cutting in and out. Sorry.
It's your fan. It's your
Ah,
fan.
hold on. Let me. Does it sound better now?
I think
A
we're
little
getting a
bit.
bit
Just
more
blow it. The
consistent. Yeah.
bland's
Last
the
Yeah.
bland's flowing into the microphone.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
covering it with my mouth.
That's better.
With my hand.
That's better.
So yeah, we were saying like, well, we've got an understanding that you've got a problem with what's that? Goober.
Says, we don't have a problem, no.
Because we plan to travel there next. We were wondering if are we gonna get attacked? If we tell them that we're from here.
Yeah, he says, we don't believe you'll get attacked now. Have we reached an agreement that we will share as much information as possible?
Yeah.
Okay. So in Gooba, basically, one of their first jumps was to Gooba when they were able to achieve a jump 2 ship, which was difficult because they had to bootstrap them up past the jump 1 immediately. Anyway, they got a jump 2 ship. They jumped there. They actually jumped there with a couple of ships, which was actually, in hindsight, a very wise move. They did an immediate recce of the system. It was, to say the least, disarray. There seemed to be some sort of fighting going on. We took a sort of a very quiet sort of approach, and what we witnessed, we're not sure what we witnessed. But basically at one stage, what we witnessed was, we can only surmise it was a war. As you may know, in the Imperium, Gooba is one of 2 sites in this sector that has stargates. From our position, we saw the stargate activated. We don't know from where. A huge mass exit it, impact with the planet of Gooba, totally destroying it, breaking it up completely. Once we sort of, over the course of a few years, we continued to observe this until we felt that it was safe enough to actually go closer. We went closer. Gooba now is a cluster, a globule of broken bits. We did not find any Goobans. We did find what we thought were Goobans, but they weren't. They were some other creature. We don't know what they are. We have very limited recordings, which we are we would need assurances that this information is not going to be shared with the general populace.
I'd step in and say, well, of course, absolutely. And I ask him in conversation, is this why you're starting to build up such strong defenses and ships coming in from jump route? Does this have something to do with that?
Mildly.
I mean,
so he'll bring up, he'll turn a picture around so that you guys can see it. Give me a second, and I'll get you a picture. Sorry, I should have had this ready. So he'll present this picture to you. Sorry, give me a chance to find it. And it's coming in the Roll20. It's going to take a wee bit. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
3,
Probably
2,
would have been better in bloody Discord.
1.
Quicker. Closer.
Actually, would have been faster.
Yeah, certainly thought it would have been faster. And
ooh.
this is what we found.
That looks familiar.
We're not sure
That's
what.
a strange looking dude.
Yeah, it's There were several of them, and they were posing as, when we initially got there, as the survivors, or we thought, which is why we have,
So,
you may have noticed our unusual law about not aiding any SOS ships that are not of our creation.
have you had any issues or met any of these in your system that were part
No.
of an SOS ship?
No.
No, but this is part of why.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that maybe they might have gone through that Stargate?
That's what we think, but we don't know
Or on
how
that giant
technologically
ship?
advanced. Possibly, we
Yeah.
don't know. We don't know. We were too far away to
Yeah,
actually
they
make any
they don't
good.
look like a happy-go-lucky, friendly folk by
No.
any means.
No. So he says that
Yeah.
they didn't get any great detail on their sensor data when they arrived there and saw this whole thing take place. But what they
Yeah,
have found is these creatures, when they were able to capture a dead example of one, some of the early medicos and scientists were, and this work all happens in Gooba basically, and they have to make sure they don't get infected or anything like that. What they do is they have a system where anyone who went to Gooba, they are there. That's it. They have contact with the people from Aspis, but the ships don't ever actually join up or anything. It's just all digital, and the people from Aspis will leave a box of stuff or whatever, and then they take that on as supplies and whatever, and that's pretty much the system that they use. So these people are pretty much exiled there, and they're trying to work out what the hell's going on. These creatures they have parts of human DNA, and they have parts of plant DNA.
Cool.
So I'm wondering if they're genetically engineered, some kind of.
Or some sort of virus.
Or something.
Yeah.
They don't know, but basically all
Genetic
they know is
virus.
they found this out. They've been working on this problem for the last 70 odd years. Yes, people salad, lovely. Yeah, no, he will be going into it now that you've seen it, Pierre. Also was on the intro, but very quickly. So yeah, so that's why they have a bit of secrecy around Gooba.
Yeah.
They, of
Makes
course, if the
sense.
general populace knew about this, they would
They'd be
be
scared.
very concerned. We don't
Terrified.
know. What we do know, though, is they have not appeared on Pedicula, nor have they appeared on Norkern. They don't know if they've appeared anywhere else. They assumed that they may have travelled to Samwenda when their ship did not return. They assumed the worst there, but if you said they crashed, then perhaps it was a different situation. So they may very well open up community.
Well, I would share with him. We know for a fact that Sanwinda has no awareness of these creatures that you're talking about from
Yeah,
everything
no.
we've seen with them.
Right.
No, they're in the dark on this completely.
They're
Their guys,
relatively lower level than you guys.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the biggest issue with Cuba, is that the planet is destroyed. The Stargate's still there, but they don't know how to use it, and they don't know where they'll end up going to if they should be able to activate it. And if they activate it, they don't know if these things are going to come through it. So they're sort of keeping the Stargate. They're not destroying it. They're keeping it off, and basically they've got a squadron of people who live there just guarding that. Should something get through, they're just going to destroy whatever comes through it, no matter what. Yeah, so that's the situation with Gooba. They, in answer, like if you ask about the scout base there, you can say that basically once the attack on Gooba happened, all they found was an abandoned scout base. They were able to talk to those people who are on the orbital Navy base, and they plus the Guban Asbis people have been sort of holding the sort of the front guard to whatever else may come through the Stargate. And that's pretty much
Interesting.
it. And basically, Asbus is giving them provisions and supplies to keep them alive while they do that.
So you guys have made several jumps back and forth, and you have people there that are on it, but you don't want them coming back.
Weekly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's also where we gain some information about how to, from the Navy. They had the personnel, but not the designers or the medical, the technical know-how. But we've helped them maintain their stuff and use some of the information from the medical.
So the
databases.
pedicular people don't know about these things too, do they? Obviously.
They're too consumed with the issues of their leader. Yes.
They're
Hold on.
leaders, so that's a
Say what?
that's a dictatorship. What could you tell us about the government of Pedicular? It's a dictatorship or
They're
something?
a bunch of religious nuts.
Ah, nice.
Cool. What about Nokori?
There's virtually nothing there.
Yeah.
There are some scavengers. It's gone to barbarism. There's nothing there. Apart from perhaps some, nothing. There really is nothing there. We tried to contact the scout base there. We found that it had been totally abandoned.
Yeah. Well, I can only think of two reasons why scouts would leave. One of them is an applicable here, so they went somewhere. They found out something that went somewhere. Is there anything else we need to talk to these guys about?
Well, you're going to share with them your information?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we did that with...
Okay, so they just need to tell you this. If you leave Asbus, and they're not going to hold you back, but if you leave Asbus and you go to Guba, or you go anywhere else where these creatures might be, there's no way for sure that you're going to come back to Asbus and you're not going to be fired on. They don't know how intelligent they are, they don't know what they could do, or the only thing they know is that if you don't use one of Asbus's transponders, and that's genetically encoded, even though, if these things have, which they possibly could have, is genetical knowledge, genetical,
Alright.
damn it.
So if we ever want to contact you, we're going to have to go to Goober and find that little outpost thing that you guys got set
possibly,
up up there?
but we probably, once you leave Asbus, unless this threat can be overcome and thoroughly overcome, we don't know how more further it is, how widespread it is. But if you leave now, we don't know if it's you coming back or it's these things masquerading as you. Which is another reason why they haven't really, once they started reaching out, they really sort of have stopped, and they're trying to formulate some sort of plan so that when they do decide to reconnect or recontact people and groups, that they can do so as safe as possible. But that's it. That's their story at the moment.
So is there a way we could get a transponder that would coordinate with them so they could make sure it's us if we go there and come back?
No, it's genetic.
So in other words,
they're genetically encoded. Yeah. So you need someone on board your ship who comes from Asbus.
Could we do that? No, wait, we don't have enough people.
No.
But yeah, we're full. Unless someone wants to say. But,
so in other words, we leave, we probably can't come back to Asbus.
Probably not. And they say they're sorry, but they just can't guarantee this. They need to guarantee the safety of their system.
Right.
So why did they let us in the first place? I mean, well, they knew we were coming from
You had an Imperial transponder.
Okay.
You cooperated. To be honest, should the recon dogs have detected anything that we didn't like, they will have exploded, and they were thermonuclear devices.
Oh, we would have been toast, eh?
Yes.
They would have freaking zapped our ass.
Yep.
That's nice to know.
Hmm.
Well,
No,
After the fact.
well, seeing
Yeah,
as
after the fact.
we're probably not coming back.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we leave some sort of breadcrumb, like some sort of recording, if any more Imperium come this way within the next
Certainly.
100 years? Probably going to be the next time.
They had no problem with that. So they ask you, so it's safe the direction you came from.
Yes.
Would you be able to give them those
Yep.
coordinates?
Yeah.
To San Winda? Yeah.
Sandwinder and Juliet.
And then your home plate. Okay, so they only have one little problem with that. They thank you,
They could-
but they only have jump 3 ships.
Yeah, they
So-
can't make the jump.
No,
Oh,
but
but
they
they
can
What
get
could
to
about
one
Juliet.
day.
duopods? They could.
They can get to Juliet,
Huh?
and you sharing them with Juliet, they can actually Juliet and Sam Winder are safe at the moment. And
Yeah.
going via they just have to jump into pedicular space and jump out. That's fine. That's easy. They can do that.
Yeah.
They can go a long way.
We'll also give them the head up that Sandwinder is a corporate run government.
Okay, that's cool. We can
So, yeah.
introduce some technology that will.
But you know what though? You could help each other if you guys could unite. You could help each other, and you can better.
Yeah.
Their biggest. Go ahead, Sid.
So long as you're filling their pockets, they should be relatively easy to deal with.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like anything that looks like hope, food, or water will help the Juliet people.
I
Those
think
that are
more.
surviving.
I think more like a colony.
Uh-huh.
You guys colonizing them, or
Right.
someone like that.
Right.
It's a little bit more than just food and water
Mm-hmm. Okay.
going on for them.
I think Lanthanum too would please them. I think they're
Lanthanum
edge-
will very
Sandwinder.
please Sandwinder.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
Juliet though, Juliet's barbaric.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Juliet, like
Yeah.
Juliet needs a little bit more than just.
Yeah, but that's
Food
okay.
and
They
water.
can build big ships, and they can have colonists and army, and they can move a big chunk of the enough population there to do that. They would not consider sending any Lanthanum to Sunrender. We don't need them to be able to jump out of system, because if they jumped out of system to the wrong place and infected themselves and got back to the system, that would create issues.
Well, I'm sure if you deal with them, you can explain that to them. Yeah.
That's for you to decide. Like you said, we're here to recon the territory and deem any threats or deem what's here, and to take that information back to the Imperium to see what they'll do or what
Yep.
we'll do from there.
Yeah, we're not here to.
Recon mission.
Yeah, we're not here to build bridges. We're just walking across them. We're
Right,
just walking through the river.
Cool. Megan, are you wanting to add anything to this conversation? You're in the room.
I don't think there's anything else to add, other than find out if trading if the Imperium.
Sorry, other than find out what? I missed that last bit, David.
Sort of trading anything
Trading?
they're specific trading with the Imperium.
Okay. They'd be happy to trade, but they need a trade route. So if we were to jump, and I'm assuming that, like, you know, we'll just imagine that they can jump. Oh, damn it. They can
Yeah,
jump
they'll have to deal with Sandwinder to do all that.
Well, yeah, but they can also jump up. But for some reason, my okay, it does it there, but it just doesn't do it there. Which is kind of weird. Try that. No, it's just not going to go up to 701 for some reason. So they might be able to head up to that direction to jump out of the system and make connection with the Imperium. So that's something they can do. So they ask, is there any way that we can code our ships to make sure that we're not shot on sight? Because we understood that the quarantine was still in place, but you're saying it's not.
Honestly, I don't. We were never given anything like that, AC.
No.
No. Honestly, you may want to wait to contact the Imperium until we get back with a full assessment of the sector.
Hmm. But if they go, you want them to send off your recording?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah, because like you want to give them the information about this, not let the Asbians tell them that, eh? Because then you lose like up to half a mega credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll give them that little bread. Because I'm thinking if we ever do
Maybe
find
we
like
should
helpful
set a
people,
timeline.
Yep.
yeah, we'll at least set out a breadcrumb
Right. Okay.
so that in that 100 years when they try this again,
Yeah.
after
Hopefully
we
not
fail,
100 years, but we'll see how far you guys go.
just in case we fail.
Aye. Okay. So, after you sort of talk about that, do you have any ideas about where you want to head straight away? Which way you're going to be jumping?
Goober would be the next,
Okay. So,
but
what they
we
can
are we all
what they can do is they can send someone with you. They can't fiddle with your ship's transponder because, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you
it's a genetic
can,
thing.
but yeah, but they can send someone there or give you. Oh, I don't know. They'd have to. Yeah, you'd have to. There's people. It's more contact based than just passwords and that sort of stuff. So they could send someone with you that could get you there to gain some supplies and move on from there, if that's what you want to do. And also spread the word a little bit and increase morale. They'd be happy for that to happen too. And it doesn't matter what these people know because these people know more than anyone else what's going on.
What about the other planet? What about the
About where, sorry?
in the next subsector?
Are you talking about Huon and Ioun?
Yeah.
They have no information. Once they had this issue in Gooba, they pretty much tried to keep things tight so they didn't get infected with, or they didn't allow the invaders to come into their system.
Right. I think I needed to discuss things with the crew.
Yep.
Before we make any jumps, but it's
Right, yeah.
likely possible that we're going to Gooba next.
Okay.
So have you got any messages for you guys?
Yep, they can. Yep. And do you have any cargo capability? Not really.
No.
You might be able to stack a 1 ton.
I think we got like a ton. Yeah. I think we've got like a ton.
Well, we are armored to the hilt, and we're stealthy, and we can kind
are
of
we
hold our
stealthy?
own.
No.
Are we stealthy?
No. This ship is armed to the gills, and that's about it. Yeah, not stealthy at all.
Yeah.
Okay. So each side sort of going back and talking to the powers that be on each side and what your next step is. So
well, this might be the last time we talk to you guys.
Well, they thank you for everything. You've got a couple of days here where you can rest and relax and do whatever you think you need to do. We need to work out our details too, and perhaps we can meet in a couple of days and work out what it is you're doing and we're doing.
Alright. Would it be alright if we stay for a week?
It's fine. They don't mind.
Because I think
you will start incurring commercial costs though. That's the only problem.
What's that? 100 a day?
100 credits for the next week, I think. Yeah, because that's
that's just
$1,000. Yeah,
that's 100 credits. Give the guys one last good week of doing something before we hit the shit. Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like you guys have got a week of R&R. Oh my god. I'm not going to even roleplay that. You just tell me what you want, because it's a high lore level, guys. So you got to be careful with that.
Don't they have whorehouses?
No. No, they don't.
No. Yeah, right.
On a planet with a high military,
those little robot dogs.
It sounds like we got to go with the $10 porn, huh? The 10 credit porn.
Well, those robot dogs? They're multifunctional.
Yeah. They're multifunctional. Oh, Oh, come here, doggy, doggy, doggy.
Oh no.
Yeah, they got little packs of peanut butter on them.
Lick two free peanut.
This is just getting
This is
worse.
just going downhill every minute.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's
Alright.
only in the first half day.
Lick free 3PO.
I think we check out the sites and learn about the culture and just take it easy.
Okay.
Don't try to create any waves. Lay
Yeah,
low,
I
be
was-
civil, be respectful.
Okay, so you will have
Hold on.
guides, shall we say? You will have guides to help you because otherwise you will be wolf-packed by all the natives.
Before you go anywhere,
Yeah.
Samuel,
Yeah.
Oh,
can we?
God.
Will we get them to survey?
No, David. Do you what? Sorry.
Can I ask if I could survey the system,
The planet.
the planet, the moon? Yeah.
Yeah, we want to see the moon, especially. What do they got off limits?
Gas giants, the other
you'll
planets.
understand that the moon has sensitive military information that we can't allow to be just roaming free.
Yeah, we'll follow the flight plan that you set. We're just wondering.
You also understand we're not the average visitors. We represent the Imperium, and we're your
Hold on,
allies.
Jerry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hold on, Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Just so we can, do all the boring stuff. I think I'm gonna give my crew a week of R&R
Right.
because it looks like this may be the last chance they get.
Mm-hmm.
But I was wondering if I could, survey some of the system. If there's any like asteroids, planets, or this planet. I didn't want to.
They can give you a lot of already surveyed data if you want to. It's relatively new. It's about half a year old.
Mm.
They can.
Do you mind if I take some flybys past some stuff?
As long as it's not about the moon, yes, that's fine.
Yeah. All right. That's what I'm doing throughout the week.
Okay. So make a couple of survey rolls, matey. The rest of you,
I guess
Okay.
I'm in the gig, so.
yep, you're in the gig. That's fine. Doing your thing. Fine.
Oh yeah.
All good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Want me to do one more?
No, you're okay. Well, here's the question: do you want to try to sneak one in on the moon? It's a
What do you
long
mean by
distance
sneak?
thing.
Hold on.
You are surveying. You come over the horizon of the planet, and you just happen to be at the right angle to try to capture some of the moon.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be a +3, so you need to hit an 11 with your total number.
Give it a shot.
Well, with that second one, I've hit 12.
Yeah, that's the 2 that you do just normally. This is the, if you want to, those ones are warming you up saying,
Can I go with
do
him?
this.
Can I go with him on that and take a roll at it?
I only got a
My comms?
10.
Okay,
Can I go with him and try it with my comm skill? Give it a shot, too?
I guess so. There would be some synergy there.
Yes!
Okay.
Yes!
Radio,
Bam!
you glean some information. I won't tell you what that is just yet. Yeah?
Yeah, we were just in the right place at the right time.
You came over the horizon
I
of the
threw the
planet.
comm sensors on and turned on the
Yeah.
computers and we honed in on them.
Radio, I'll tell you about that in a wee while. Okay, the rest of the week goes through. People tell me how much you want to spend from anywhere from 0 through to, I don't know. I don't think you need to spend any more than like 500 credits here in a week, because that's $5,000. That's going to be a pretty high lifestyle. And yes, at that price, you will find some companionship.
Remember, this will be the last time.
And look at what you might have to have companionship with next time. Hello, my
Yeah,
name
I
is...
think-
I
I
like
think we'll
eating
pass on
people
that.
and putting my feet into the soil and going for romantic walks on the beach.
No, you're cutting off too much. I can't.
Space herpes is the gift that keeps on giving.
That's the one. Yeah, exactly.
Space
Well,
clap.
Been a few weeks and
Space
I'm not.
happy clappy.
Yeah. Sorry, Dave?
It says been a few weeks and I'm not picky.
Yeah. You would be with that thing, but anyway.
Oh.
Yeah. ships.
I'm with the skipper on the survey, so I'm
Yeah.
not getting no action.
Okay. Rightio, the week comes up, just exit the amount of money that you, depending on how much fun or how much we want to do. Now, buying things. Obviously, the only thing of a weapon nature that you could buy here would be daggers or brass knuckles. That would be the only legal thing. Does anyone want to do anything dangerous?
No, brass knuckles.
Brass knuckles are legal? Holy cow.
Yep.
I think I'd rather get shot
Okay.
hit by brass knuckles.
So you don't want to buy any brass knuckles?
Yeah, I'll buy
Sure.
brass knuckles.
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
Ones that are
Yep.
get the
Basically-
rainbow. We'll get the rainbow pattern brass knuckles.
But we can
Okay.
carry small blades, right? We can
Yep.
carry a dagger
daggers,
or something.
Basically. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so brass knuckles are 15 credits up here. And basically they're a polycarbonate.
How do they
Basic
work in
polycarbonate.
combat? Like a club or?
So they basically, you treat them as a hand with a +1. And the damage they do is a hand plus 1d3.
Okay.
Can I get one where it's got written across the knuckle, Homer?
With,
I'll just stick
Yeah.
with a dagger in my boot. I don't
Okay.
need a brass knuckles if
Okay.
I'm on the planet.
that's a cool
I've
bit.
got blade
These- yeah.
skills already.
These are polycarbonate, so they're not metal. Just saying.
Oh, it would have been funny if you punched someone random.
You've got them printed out with Tacoma on each one.
One with Tobias and the other one with
Tacoma's
Tacoma.
knuckles.
Okay.
But anyway.
Okay, so if there's nothing else you want to buy here, basically the end of the week wraps up.
Do they have any nice stuffed animals?
Yes.
Hope everyone had fun, because that could be the last time.
I buy
Oh, yeah.
I buy 2 or 3, like really nice, colorful stuffed animals,
Right.
and a very large box of balloons and a tank of helium.
Okay. It's probably just a like not a huge tank. It's like like a hand-sized tank. You'd be able to fit all the balloons up in it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically they will put in a ton of cargo, of course sealed, in the gig to be given to be delivered to the spot where you're going. They'll give you, so someone's going to have to go, well, there are some people that are already double occupancy. Someone else is going to have to go double occupancy, and they'll provide the extra life support for that person. They'll be staying there. They'll be coming back with another ship, but they will both. So basically, it is like a political officer, and her name is Leslie Brownlee, and she is one of those unfortunate women who is just on the wrong side of good looks, and in the wrong uniform makes her look like someone who comes from Russia.
Alright, cool. Wee woo. Have fun. You've got a bunk mate. Because I'm assuming we gave her one to herself, right?
Probably. Yep.
For being the only woman.
Yep. Okay. We've got it. Okay.
Because the other guys should have one by himself. This guy, and he's not sharing it with her.
Right. I think there's 2 people. I think it's Gaius and Luke share one, and your other medic, and there's another. I think there's another NPC. It's all 4 of the NPCs are basically in double bunks, a double occupancy at the moment.
Alright, cool.
Yep. Okay, so she's on board. You guys sail out. There's very little issue sailing out. I just need a... so, when you come into Goober does have a gas giant. Although you're given specific location sort of to come out. So, you will need, in this case, you will need a navigational roll, because you're coming out in a different area.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that roll.
Well, before we do that, everyone all right with going to Goober? Any objections? Speak
Well, I
aloud.
think we need to come up with some code word to let the guys know that it's us when we come back. But yeah, other than that, I'm cool. But I think we need to. I mean, we need to come up with some kind of plan so that they know it's us if we come back. But
Okay, there's
I
no.
agree.
They said there's no guarantee that they're going to trust that. So,
well, I mean, if you don't want the information that we glean from our travels,
oh yeah, well, I mean, yeah,
I mean, because we're not done yet. This is the third. You guys are
exactly.
the third planet we've been to.
Hmm.
More work to do, and we're probably going to come this way
They
back.
understand that.
So,
So the other thing they understand though is that they can't risk an invasion, an infection, or whatever the hell those things
Well,
are.
well,
no.
sure. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that
Yeah,
this is not an insurmountable barrier to our returning this way. Doesn't need to be. There's a will and a few gray cells to rub together. We can find a solution, and it could be
true.
just as simple as coming up with a code that will say, you know,
Providing that the enemy can't get that out of you or some way falsify it, they'd be happy with it. The one thing you get off these people once you guys have talked about them is that in this one particular area, they are highly paranoid. They gave you the briefest of discussion around what they saw. You would get the feeling, Tacoma, that they saw a shitload more, or it's a lot worse than what.
You know, another plan would have been to act like we weren't going to Gooba and maybe sneak route there later. I mean, oh no, we're not going to go there.
We still would have.
Yeah.
They would have done the same. Honestly, I think, yeah, we're just gonna have to go to their outpost and.
Okay, right. Sergeant Lance is having the last big hurrah before he goes. Um, females, balloons, and I'm not sure what else. Okay, so Leslie Brumley's there with you. I just need to know what your navigation number is there, please. Skill level. Whether it's...
That'd be Pierre.
Yes, Pierre. Yep.
Oh,
Pierre.
I just have a navigation 1. Does anybody
Thank
have
you.
better than that?
No. Well,
Nope.
You're the navigator.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, that's all cool. Right, and of course the balloons are on top of you and you just happen to be naked or something, Sergeant Lance.
Yep.
Let's dig up this photo from the past.
Yep.
Where is it? Oh. How do I do this?
You can import it to Discord. You just chuck it in the
Yeah.
Stardust chat window, not the vocal one, but the text one.
Yeah, I'm ahead of you.
Yep. Okay, so
Oops, wrong one.
Like,
That's
these are two random females, right? They're not
like
Weevu.
hardcore. That's like hardcore prawn.
Yeah, Heiko Prawn. He's paid. I'm guessing he's paid 500 credits and he's having a good time.
Me.
What happened to my picture? Damn. I have two
Prawn
capture.
picture, yeah.
I keep saving things as capture, so that goes wrong. Don't know where I saved the other thing. Yeah. Egg on my face.
Radio. Thank you for the description there, Samuel. We don't need to go any further.
Yeah, my wife's been gone a while. My brain's a little one-tracked. Okay.
Okay. Radio. Gotta finish the game now, guys.
This isn't Jacob though. Jacob Promethean would already be on it. This is Samuel. He's a little more. He has a little more.
Well,
Jacob
don't take class.
Jacob Promethean's penis fallen off years ago.
Okay. Radio. We'll take it as everyone's had a bit of fun, those who could afford it. In whatever way, shape, fashion, or style that may be. As long as it's
Yeah.
legal.
Except for Tacoma, who just did paperwork.
Yeah, and did a whole lot of survey and made sure that you
Yeah.
guys have got the... So, Tacoma, you also made the record and sent it out. So,
Yep.
can you include another 2,000, another 10,000, and bracket up to 0.5 mega credits? Put it in brackets.
Oh, and remember now, I got that high roll, and you still haven't
I'm gonna
emphasized
give
exactly.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Okay.
are you going to put that in your report?
No, we're gonna keep that on the hush,
Right.
and
until
you know
give
use
another
that to
report.
compile our
Yeah.
own strategic information.
Sorry, what was that? What information was that?
The moon stuff.
What was the moon stuff? Because I
Remember,
had
I
to.
rolled a 12 on that
Yeah.
Yeah,
survey.
what did you find out from the moon? Because I had to take my headset off.
Okay, so no, I haven't
He
said
didn't
it
tell us
yet.
yet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, but what we're talking about is, did you include that in the message back home or not, given that they held the message?
I don't know what the message
Not
was.
yet. No.
Well, the message you're sending back to the Imperium with them if they go back to the Imperium.
I would say
yeah,
no,
no.
Sid.
Yeah.
Well, don't we get to know what it is first?
Yeah, I'm going to tell
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
I don't know
The
what
thing is,
it
it's
was.
information that you shouldn't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Well, I want to know what it is before
Okay.
I decide
So
whether or not it is.
the piece of information you got was that yes, you definitely were able to detect a complex on the moon. That complex was able to show you that they had quite a large complex on the moon, and it would seem to indicate that's where they're storing their other ships, as well as possibly they have done an awful lot of construction. So it's, you take from it what you take from that, whether you think it's the putting a planet on the
They
moon
got
or
some
they're doing
serious
something else.
capital ship.
Yeah.
They're loaded. They're
Yeah.
paranoid and loaded.
So you would estimate that. Okay, so you know what a Merc cruiser is?
Yeah.
Those big things.
800 ton.
Yep. So you'd estimate that they, from what information you've got, you would estimate that they would have the equivalent of around about 80 of those.
That's a pretty powerful little unit coming up across this fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the army they plan to fight against.
Yeah, but 80 of those against a freaking Lightning Thunder class Imperial ship, 100,000 isn't going to
just using the hull size, 800 hull ton vehicles they've got.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They're not. I'm just using that.
8,800 ton. You're just going by example. So they have about 8,800 ton naval mercenary capacity vessels back there.
Yeah, they have
military
a lot.
Style. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a lot. There are other mixed vessels in there. You can't really make out what they are because they're a hell of a lot smaller. But it's definitely highly militarized. They don't have a base on the moon. They have a complex from your survey. That goes down about half a mile into the moon's crust.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alright. So, like, you know, we'll subtly say, we'll subtly recommend that, you know, the Imperium try to work with the people of Azpis. We won't tell them what's there, but you know, we'll make suggestions.
Well, you could say
not in the breadcrumb at least.
Military sense to work with the people of Azpis. They have they appear to have the ability to support military. Something like that.
Military. They can fight a war.
Yeah.
We won't say exactly what's going on, but we'll just say, these guys have got guns.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That should be enough to make them, at least not, you know, fire on them and think that they could just run them over.
You're not going into one little vessel bossing them around. You're going to be toasted.
Yeah.
Plus they also have these lovely little sniffer dogs.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so you head out of system. I've got the nav roll. I need you to make the roll to, you've got your life support, you're fueled up, you're ready to rock. Make your don't blow up roll, please, Sid. Oh no, you didn't blow up. Are you sad you didn't achieve the blow up? Okay. Rightio.
Well,
you're in jump again.
After Tuesday's game, I was...
No, right after he hits the button,
Yep.
I take one of those big balloons and I pop it.
Something
Everybody
broke,
flinches
Captain.
in
Something
the
broke.
You see everybody flinch? Pop.
So.
I don't hear it. I'm in the engineering. What we.
Yep. Okay,
Yeah.
so actually there are no gas giants in the Goober system. Sorry, so you're not coming out by a gas giant.
No, oh yeah, that's
so
right.
your stats of the pre-Goober was D. I'll put this in the Roll20. Okay, let's try that again. D 2 3. Where are you?
Cuba got blown up though.
9 EA.
So planet size 0.
D Navy base, scout base. So not sure about the starport, that hasn't been mentioned, but planet size, atmosphere and water, and you can assume, yeah, you're not sure about population, what the population is around the area. So
But people are jumping out from there, right?
the Aspis people are, yeah.
Yeah, so they should. Hopefully, they'll have.
Yeah.
We can
So
leech over.
that's what you got confirmed at the moment heading in. You're not sure.
Well,
about
we
the
also
star
haven't
base,
jumped
the
force
population.
it, so
You do know
we'll
that
still have
there is
fuel.
a Navy base there though, because they did confirm that with you.
Mhm.
There used to be a scout base, and they confirmed that that's vacant. That's gone as well. That's abandoned.
We might have to take a look.
Yep.
I recommend we explore some of these abandoned scout bases and try to figure out why they're abandoned.
Well, yeah, well, I think the scout bases are either completely gone, completely gutted, or being repurposed.
Yep.
So weren't they
the one
repurposing it?
in Aspis has been repurposed. Yep, you're right. And you didn't get a chance to look at the others.
But there are going to be some that haven't been touched because no one's been there and they're just abandoned. I mean, you never know.
Well, it makes sense that the Juliet and the San Window are just husks.
Yeah.
Then there is literally nothing there, especially if they've taken the information. Like this is just my assessment as a scout.
Yeah.
They've hidden that information away somewhere for a reason.
Yeah.
So I'm betting that if we do come across scouts, they'll probably have like a whole heap of information. They're probably hidden within some sort of population or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So, are you doing anything in the jump time apart from your normal stuff?
Apart from the normal stuff, I'd be reviewing with the skipper all the information we covered, and reading and rereading about Gooba, and going over that type of stuff.
Okay,
and just trying to, yeah.
Okay, well, as I said before, the information you got originally was that although it was a small, not that hospitable, the population was in the billions.
Not anymore.
And it had a tech level D with a naval and a scout base.
Wow.
So it had a shitload there.
There's probably a lot of lanthanum to be scrapped or grabbed over there too.
Could be.
You'd have an interest in that.
So Lance, have you stayed back on the planet of Aspis? Is your character leaving the game? Because if you're flying the Maidens, that would indicate you're back there, because they would not be coming with you on board ship.
Hello.
Hello.
Glenn.
Yeah.
Glenn, are you there?
Sorry, I was muted. I thought we were taking the political officer to Guba with us to.
Yeah.
No.
She's only one. Oh, you're talking about your engineer and her. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
Right. Well,
yeah.
the engineer,
He's
you
a
blow up a balloon,
blockbuster.
she will continually pop them and walk away. She's not interested. Although she'll grab some of your liquor and take it off. She won't drink on duty, but she'll take some.
She's a
Well,
bit of a
see,
ball
Glenn,
buster.
Yeah.
when you
It's
get a
kind of fun.
character,
It's kind of fun.
yeah,
And
you only
Brownlee, well, she's interested in talking about from a military perspective. The minute you try to get friendly, she'll probably apply you in some sort of finger lock, which will be very painful.
That
see. I
could be
told you,
fun.
Glenn, in character generation, you don't get a skill more than one usually, so you need a skill of 4 if you're going to do game here.
Yeah, but Lance comes off as someone who'd enjoy that pain. Getting put in a finger lock.
Kinda, yeah,
Yeah, that'd be foreplay.
possibly,
Um,
yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that back to Goober, that's sort of the thing. And the other thing is that the Stargate. So
Yeah.
the Stargate was an artifact that was linked to another Stargate in another system in the sector. And the other planet is...
Are we sure it was in the sector? We don't know where it was linked to, though.
No, but it is. Well, there is a report. They're not sure how true it is, but there is a report that in the Nagorno-Karabakh subsector, there is a sister Stargate above the planet of Baku.
How did these things get built again? Do we have
They're ancient artifacts. They don't know.
uh,
Yeah.
so
So
that made
they just orbited these particular planets for, well, these planetoidal planets for a particular reason that the humans don't know yet. In history, about 120 years ago, there is a report that the Stargate above Guba was activated. And
Yeah, and we know the crew that went through that Stargate.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
Shalimar.
And it is reported or suspected, they're not quite sure about all the details because, well, details are hard to come by at the moment, that the Stargate was connected to the Baku Stargate. And that would have been the exit point.
Wow.
That's all they know. So, apart from that, apart from the information that you got from this planet of around about 70 odd years ago, the Stargate being active again, but this time something big coming out of it and impacting the planet, which shattered the planet and whatever the big thing was. That's it.
Yeah. Wow.
So there's been, prior to that, there was a lot of investigation of the Stargates. There's lots of information that you don't have in library. It would be see this
Something
reference,
an
see this
ancient
reference.
society left behind.
Yeah, and you're not sure who or what or why. But it's just these two Stargates have been found here. Where the others are, if there are others, who knows? These could be the only two in this particular network. They don't know. So what are you wanting to... so that's the information you find, gentlemen, as you're going over. Otherwise, it's relatively standard travel through hyperspace, jump space. You come out, boom. The political officers do not send any signals. You've come out in a very within 100 diameters of a small planet, toid sort of thing in the system. And you're told immediately to get into its shadow. Do not send out anything, only use passive sensors. So with that information, Pierre, if you want to use your passive sensors to see what you can find out there, you're more than welcome to.
And I'll fly over to where they told us to.
Yep.
I would imagine, Skipper, we got gunners loaded and combat programs in.
Yeah, I've taken
Needed to.
standard practice. Yeah.
That is the standard, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which means you'd also be in the gig, manning probably the laser in the gig to give you extra firepower.
Yeah, I re-looked at my character. I already had lasers and screens, so I'm going to have to go with the auto rifle. And I already had that skill. It just wasn't in my character sheet in the system.
So cool.
But yeah.
So
yeah, I could be doing that.
Okay, so what you get, what Will gets, there are some narrow band. He can't quite intercept them, but there are some narrow band communications going on. There doesn't seem to be any other electronic chatter within the system. It's almost dead apart from that.
Yeah.
So as you start to come up Tacoma on the horizon of the planet, there's a certain part of your apogee where that's when you send out your narrowband bursts to a specific location, and then you go back underneath the horizon again. You're then instructed that in 15 minutes time you to go above the horizon to receive any incoming message. So I need a piloting roll, please.
Alright.
The other thing is, as I said, there are no gas giants here, so you'll be relying on refueling at the Navy base somewhere, or using your 2-jump to get out of there.
Ooh, I just made it too.
Cool. Okay, so the message is sent, you go under the horizon again, you wait your time, you come up. There's a coded instruction that Brownlee seems to understand. She sort of brushes Will aside and puts in some stuff onto the keypad, sends it off. She instructs you to fall under the horizon again and come up again in another 15 minutes, which happens, and the instruction, so she says, okay, here's the coordinates. Travel through these vectors at this speed. Don't deviate.
Alright, I do it.
Okay, so piloting roll please, Tacoma.
Nope. Now, can I get these rolls choose again? It's only a 6.
6. Okay, just let me see what happens. Okay. Anyone else got piloting roll? Piloting skill.
I have
do.
pilot 1 and ship's boat 1.
Okay, and Will, you have it as well?
The same.
Okay, you're on deck at the moment, so we'll try you first, Will. Give me a piloting roll, please, to compensate for the captain. Just. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, the deviation is very slight, and you come back on course.
Phew.
You'll need to do a sensor roll as well, please. Okay. So nothing else is coming across or anything has changed at the moment. You proceed along your course. You get to the waypoints. That's all fine. You change your course. You get the idea that you are snaking, if you like, your way around the system between objects. Because once you get to each point, there's a certain amount of time you wait before you start moving on to the next point. Eventually, you start coming in, and this is, when you start receiving a coded message that you're aware of, that Brownlee understands, and she tells you to input certain things and then send that off. And sort of out of there's bits and pieces all over the system. Yeah, there are bits and pieces. Finally, you start approaching a huge hunker rock, basically. And it's then it sort of really dawns on you that what they've done is they've actually sunk, either it was made that way or they've sunk it in, the Navy base into this rock. The interesting thing is that this Navy base has engines on it, so it actually can slowly move itself where it wants to be. Wouldn't be any great, it would be like...
Cool, yeah, it's a satellite thing.
Yeah, it's a movable Navy base. So you come in, there is a hangar for you to come into. Yes.
Fuel.
Good idea, changing that as batteries out of the captain's slide rule. Yep. Brownlee gives you the access to the fuel and life support. You're asked to meet with the officers rather, who are a mix of, you can definitely tell they are different groups of people. You have the Asbian people and the Gubian people. They are friendly to each other, but they are definitely different. The other thing you'll tell is that everyone here under the age, actually will it be, no, everyone who is roughly under the age of about 30 is significantly, by about 6 inches taller than everyone else.
They're from a lightweight planet.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's called the Navy Station.
Yeah, it's this station.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to move anywhere.
Yeah. So you're working on around about 0.25, 0.3 Gs at the moment. And that seems to be established by spinning.
Oh, they don't have... So the station doesn't have Gravitex.
It has some in some areas, but the energy is more focused on other things. So
Gotcha.
you will be aware as you move through the complex. This complex has a significant portion of people and resources aimed at sensor and communication. Yeah. The other thing is they have mined this asteroid out, and they've created habitats, which is created self-fulfilling atmospherics and food. Yeah, so they are self-sustained. So you get a bit of a tour of the place. You're a bit of a PR job for Aspis and da-da-da-da-da. You're allowed to say whatever you want as long as it's a positive thing. But eventually you get the idea that the population is a 3, and the government is a captured. It's more Asbian than Gubian. Gubian?
Gubanese.
Gubanese, yep. The other thing that surprises you is that the tech level is really high. It's very high. You're
Well, it'd
expecting,
need to be if they're going to survive here.
Yep, it's a D. Was a D. It's let's see. Has anyone in this group experienced tech levels higher than a D in this game?
Well, from the Imperium, wouldn't it be 15 F?
That's maximum Imperium. Have you though? Has your character?
I would have to check my character. I don't remember.
How is that what from
Is
what
it
we
in your
is it in your
story? Is it in your backstory that you have? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, sure.
We know what our home planet is, but then we went to the military.
Yeah, I mean, your home world is what it would. I mean, really, it's only whatever base Imperium is and what your home world is.
Yeah, but I'm a scout, so I would have seen a lot.
So the scout. Okay, so scout, you're aware that they have some tech here that's tech level F.
Alright, so they're either stealing it or... 'cause I doubt that they're making it themselves, so they're getting it from somewhere.
So that's just another little piece of the puzzle. So Goober basically has a starport type of tech levels of C, not a D. It's a 000320F and a Navy base, no scout base. Population is system-wide approaching 10,000. You are in the fourth, well, you're in, yeah, basically fourth, the sort of, Goober has a couple of asteroid belts, you're in the second one in the fourth planetary position, if you like. Goober itself is in the second one, but now it's a asteroid belt. Well, it's not really an asteroid belt. You haven't gone to get to see Goober yet. So you're welcome. You're given some, you know, they know about your mission. They seem to be quite open. They seem to be. I mean, there's some areas, of course, they're not going to show you. Although they are a bit more freer with their information. So,
So, first up, what exactly has been happening? What's the recent news?
Recent news is that it's becoming harder and harder to dig out those things. Indicates the hybrid creatures. But we believe we're getting to the end, but they just have such a longevity. And they don't need a shitload of resources. From what we can tell, if you can cut off the sunlight, they start to deteriorate. So where the boffins are thinking that's their plant biology coming into play. So we believe that they just need two basics really. We're not even sure about atmospherics, but they need sunlight and water.
So are they highly contagious? Like
No.
how can they affect us?
We have records where they have infected others. Yeah. We're happy to show you all the gathered information.
Like how do they infect us? Are they airborne?
Normally, well, we're thinking they have to bite or inject you somehow.
You're cutting off badly, Steve. I don't know if you have a volume floor that's too high, or I don't know.
Okay.
No, I think that was Jerry spazzing out.
Okay, so can you hear me now, Pierre?
Yeah.
Yep.
What's that?
Repeat it again.
Yep. So I can't even remember what I was saying.
The infection.
The infection.
Yeah.
So they believe it's something like a bite or a scratch or something like that, or an injection. Sorry, an injection. They're not sure. But it's not airborne. It's not a projectile or anything like that. You've got to be in close contact with the body to be infected. They take and show you some recordings they've got of some of those instances, and it would seem that once you're infected or you're cut or you're bitten by these things, you have anywhere between a day to 2 or 3 days, and they document people as they sort of slowly are consumed and changed into these creatures. Yeah. These creatures have no use for technology. They just seem to be just designed for one purpose, and that's just.
And they're only here in Goober.
They've only been found in small pockets all over the place. We believe that they came from the original ship. So the work they've done is they've been able to enhance the original sensor readings and pictures and stuff. And they found some stuff from some satellites that were recording the event. So what you see is a satellite that's sort of pointing towards the Stargate in an odd angle. The Stargate sort of activates, and then this huge thing, you see a small sharp point come through, and then it just slowly expands so it fills up then almost the entire ring, and the ring is quite big. And if anything, this thing looks like a, I know it sounds a bit silly, but like a sinister cucumber is the best I can describe it. Where
So it's got a head then.
lines, no, it's just one big huge long thing. Where the lines are, there are like large spikes and barbettes and things, and you're not quite sure. This thing looks like it's made of some sort of possibly ceramic, not quite metal, and it just seems to, as it's sort of in length, okay, as the front of this thing is entering the atmosphere of Goober, the end of this thing is finally coming out of the end of the ring. So it's long and big. It seems to have been propelled from wherever it was with great force. You can see it coming straight through the atmosphere, disturbing everything, impacting on the surface, impacting, and basically shattering the planet. But and that's sort of when the feed sort of starts to die from that particular camera. All in all, it takes all of about 5-8 seconds. So that thing was traveling at a huge speed.
Wow.
And it's
Okay. Well, sorry, I have to leave, so I guess I'll be in touch as far as with the next game.
okay, Matty.
Yeah, well, we're approaching the 3rd hour, so
Yep. So we're gonna finish in about 10 minutes. Yep.
yeah.
Yep. So, um, other pictures I show you are of like from soldier cam, all that sort of stuff. When you have encounters with the creatures, they find them. One picture suggests that they don't need an atmosphere, or they can survive without an atmosphere. There's a picture of a guy who's gotten out on the hull of a ship in a vac suit. This thing comes out of an airlock and comes charging towards him and rips him to shreds, and he's off floating. And this thing is, before his camera sort of goes out of range to send the information, it seems to be heading back towards the airlock of the ship that he was on. Yeah. They're reporting that they're finding these things in derelicts of ships, or yeah, so they are suspecting that they might need a very minimal atmosphere to survive in, but if they can gain water and sunlight, yeah, if you can take the sunlight off them,
Well,
they seem to go into some sort of hibernative stance. So there could be lots
Sound
of
like
them
they're
living around,
genetically engineered to.
possibly.
or it's an infection. Yeah, it's a genetic infection.
Yeah, but so there could be
yeah.
lots of them still floating around in many of the derelict ships that are still floating around the system.
I guess they have been able to capture one and study it
No,
through autopsy. No,
they've gained bits. They never captured a full one.
I thought they would have, if they're getting infected and studying the change.
That's pictures they've seen of people on board ships.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the only thing they've come close to, and given that one of these things intact, if it could attack you, it could infect you, the people who have been here, if they haven't been attacked, they'd rather do something like that from a distance.
Well, this is scary as fuck. Anyone gonna go join the religious cult in particular?
So we'll leave it there, guys, for tonight. So I'll just turn the recording off. Oh, is there anything else before we need to finish?
No, we'll probably just think about what we're gonna do next.
Okay.
Do we want